somebody like him who could make things happen. Unfortunately, he had Sadiq, he had Diarra, and even Xhaka at times looked a little bit, shall we say, off it. But what they've got to do, you've got a massive game next week.
They've got to be on it next week.
You've got to pick yourself up. We've got to find that energy again, that intensity. At the present moment, we haven't got it.
Because if they play with that level of energy next week, they'll be punished heavily.
Well, you know what Newcastle's all about. Especially, the way they start the game. They start the game on the front foot, and we talked about starting the game on the front foot today.
Well, the first part of our double bill this afternoon on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds has ended in disappointment. We've got the second part to come in a few moments' time, live from Stamford Bridge, Chelsea against Newcastle United with Matthew Raisbeck and John Anderson. But from the Stadium of Light, here it is finished. Sunderland 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 1.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Yes, a disappointing result for Sunderland then at the Stadium of Light. Defeat, as Nick Barnes mentioned, 3 home Premier League defeats in a row now for Sunderland. We'll head to Stamford Bridge shortly, as Barnesy just mentioned, for our secondary commentary game of this afternoon. Dominic James, the BBC Radio Newcastle studio, just run you through some of the other results going on this afternoon. The only other 3 o'clock game this afternoon was at Turf Moor. Burnley and Bournemouth playing out a goalless draw. Also at 5:30 today at the Emirates, Arsenal take on Everton. The late kick-off this afternoon is West Ham against Manchester City.
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into the Championship then, and Middlesbrough missed out on the chance to close the gap at the top of the table to Coventry to 3 points after they conceded a 96th minute equaliser to Bristol City. Coventry dropping points, losing 2-1 to Southampton. Oxford and Charlton played out a 1-1 draw, as have Birmingham and Sheffield United at St Andrews. QPR winning 3-1 away to Leicester. Blackburn winning on the road as well, winning 2-1 at the Den against Millwall at Carrow Road. Norwich have beaten Preston by 2-0. Ipswich also winning on the road today. They beat Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough 2-0. Jack Clark, the former Sunderland winger, scoring late on, a penalty for them in that one. Stoke have beaten Watford by 3-1. West Brom 3-0 winners at the Hawthorns over Hull.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into League One then, it finished Lincoln 3, Stockport 1, Rotherham 2, Bolton 2, Doncaster 2, Blackpool 1. Owen Bailey, one of the goal scorers for Doncaster, the former Newcastle and Gateshead midfield. It finished Exeter 0, Cardiff 4, Leyton Orient 2, Peterborough 1, Mansfield Town 2, Barnsley 2, and Burton Albion 2-0 winners away at Northampton. It finished goalless between Port Vale and Huddersfield. Reading 2, Plymouth 2, Stevenage 1, AFC Wimbledon 0. Wigan 2-0 winners over Bradford, and Luton, they were 2-1 winners away to Wickham.
Total Sport North East.
The Newcastle and Sunderland AFC podcast
on BBC Sounds.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into League 2 then, the 2 early games. Salford, they beat Harrogate 1-0, and Chesterfield 3-2 winners away to Notts County. Into the 3 o'clocks, and Newport have beaten Barnet 2-1. It finished goalless between Barrow and Accrington. Bromley 1-0 winners over Bristol City. Cambridge United 5-0 winners at home to Gillingham. Walsall winning 3-0 on the road away to Crewe. It finished Fleetwood 0, Tranmere 0. Oldham 1-0 winners over Grimsby at home. Cheltenham, they beat Shrewsbury 2-0 away from home. And Swindon against MK Dons, the only other game in League 2 today, and MK Dons won that one 2-1.
Total Sport North East.
Get the latest team news, score updates and post-match reaction on Twitter at BBC Newcastle.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Non-league wise today, a big game at the bottom of the National League. Gateshead against Sutton. Gateshead, of course, on for the great escape. Paul Dixon was there for BBC Radio Newcastle, and Paul, they were so close to a big step towards their survival hopes.
Yeah, dead right, Dom. It's finished Gateshead 1, Sutton United 1, and it's a game for me that Gateshead should have won and should have gotten all 3 points. I think it's 2 points lost this afternoon where, for me, as I've seen, they should have won. I mean, they went ahead on 29 minutes and they were good value for their lead in the first half. And what a goal it was. Harry Chapman... Keaton Ward played Chapman in on goal and he floated the ball from just inside the box into the roof of the net, giving the Sutton goalkeeper Sims no chance at all. Excellent goal. So they've gone in at half time winning 1-0 and good value for it. Second half, Keaton Ward, who was my man of the match, had 2 great efforts, very unlucky. But then on 84 minutes, Sutton levelled the score, and what a brilliant finish it was. Dubai Isa, 20 yards out, drilled a low left foot shot into the corner of the net. A brilliant finish to silence the 700 Gateshead fans that were here this afternoon. But really, Gateshead should have won it on 86 minutes. A free kick into the box by Ward found Boatswain 6 yards out and he headed against the top of the bar where for me he should have scored. It was a real missed opportunity for Gateshead to get all 3 points. Got to pick themselves up, Dom, for Tuesday night where they play Wealdstone and see if they can get 3 points there. Full-time score, Gateshead 1, Sutton United 1.
Paul Dixon, thank you very much for the moment. Then Paul is off to speak to the Gateshead manager, Rob Elliott. Will bring you that one during the half-time in the Newcastle United game. We'll head there to Stamford Bridge very shortly. A few other non-league results to tell you about, though. In South Shields, they have lost 2-1 away to struggling Hereford, which means South Shields dropped to second in the table, with AFC Fylde winning today. In the MPL Premier, a couple of good results for our teams. Morpeth Town, they have won against Hyde United, which means they now draw level on points with Hyde in their hopes of staying up in the division. Top of the table, Heaven Town, they remain top of the table after a goalless draw away to Warrington. Warrington, a good side, they're a playoff. They're chasing those playoff places, so a good result for Heaven on their own. It means they stay top of the division there. In the East Division today, Croft Park, Blythe Spartans drawing 2-2 with North Ferriby. Concert 3-1 winners over Lincoln. Heaton Stannington, a great result for them away to Emily, winning 2-0 against second place Emily. So a great result for them on the road. Dunstan as well, a great result for them. They were away to Matlock. That was third against fourth and they won 2 on there. So a good result there. So some good results for our sides in the East Division today, and the only other one was Blythe Town. They were away to Silston and won 2-0 there. And earlier on in the Scottish League, Berwick Rangers, they beat Cowdenbeath 2-1. Right then, here on BBC Radio Newcastle, it's time for us to head to Stamford Bridge for build-up to Chelsea against Newcastle United in the Premier League, in the company with Matthew Racebeck and John Anderson.
Oh, hello, treacherous beings.
On BBC iPlayer.
I suspect you.
Where was your evidence?
Same game.
They are playing us like a fiddle.
More crack.
Show me the money!
I'm suspicious of everybody. Who will live? Who will die?
The Traitors Ireland. Watch all episodes on BBC iPlayer.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Now they've gone wide to Murphy. To Ramsey, a return ball to Murphy, who delivers the cross. Barnes! Yes! Harvey Barnes has scored a goal that might well go down as one of the biggest in Newcastle United history. Barnes on the end of Murphy's cross. The goalkeeper, Juan Garcia, got a big hand on it, but couldn't keep it out at his near post. Barnes, who hit the post earlier on, scored at the Gallagher end of St James's Park, and this place has erupted. Barnes with a famous Champions League goal against the mighty Barcelona. João Cancelo still got it, 30 yards out. Rafinha on his left, up to the edge of the area. It's Olmo, he's thrown himself down. It's a penalty. Oh no! Barcelona have been awarded a penalty in the 5th minute of added on time. 4 minutes were shown on the numbers board. Harvey Barnes, a hero with a goal. Ramsdale can make himself a hero. This penalty kick in added on time. Yamal has scored. Ramsdale sent the wrong way, diving to his left, rolled into the bottom corner, and black and white hearts are broken, and it's the last kick of the game. Still probably the best result and performance of any of the English teams in the Champions League round of 16 first leg, and Newcastle's opponents tonight, Chelsea, one of the other sides still playing in Europe, and they were on the end of a battering ultimately against Paris Saint-Germain tonight for both teams. Sandwiched in between the crucial second legs is this Premier League encounter, live from 5:30 here on BBC Radio Newcastle, the Newcastle United website and app, and on BBC Sounds. And if you have a smart speaker at home, you can ask it to play BBC Radio Newcastle and listen to us that way. It is quite a lovely evening in West London. Sun has been shining all afternoon. It's 11 degrees and dry. Newcastle warming up to our left-hand side. Some shooting practice for the forwards and the midfielders. Nick Voltemada has just put one into the back of the net, and now Joe Willock has a shot saved. It's his turn to have a crack, and Harvey Barnes rolls one in. Players going through their final stages of their preparations for a game that probably both would rather do without, given what is either side of it and their European ambitions. In Premier League terms, Newcastle looking to try and climb the table and get into the top half. They would go ninth if they were to win, having dropped down to 13th following Brighton's win at Sunderland. Chelsea, if they win, will move up to third on goal difference, because they are 3 points behind Man United and Aston Villa, third and fourth respectively. John Anderson, plenty to play for both teams in the Premier League. Chelsea trying to get into the Champions League spots, Newcastle hoping to get closer to the European places, but it is not each club's biggest game of the week, and Newcastle have got a derby next weekend coming up as well.
Yeah, it's hard to know where you place it, really, isn't it, Reza? You know, the Premier League's our bread and butter. You can't really put all your eggs in one basket and hope that you can go to Barcelona on Wednesday and come through that. He's made a lot of changes today, but said last night on Total Sport he has to prioritise one of these games, and it looks like he's prioritising Wednesday night, you know, and we're halfway through that game. It's only half time in the tie, still very much in it, and he'd be going there hoping to be able to finish a job off, and he's named the team. He's picked the team here this evening that he thinks is going to be good enough to go and get a result against Chelsea.
That team shows 6 changes from Tuesday night. Livramento, Botman, Willock, Voltemada, Murphy and Gordon come in for Trippier, Joelinton, Osula, Elanga, Byrne and Tonali. And the reason Tonali is not playing is that he is unwell. He is not in the squad. In fact, he hasn't even travelled. Hopefully he will be fine for Barcelona next week, but no Tonali today. Newcastle's 11: Ramsdale in goal, Livramento, Chow, Botman, Hall in defence, a midfield of Willock, Ramsey, Voltemada, Murphy, who will captain the team, Barnes and Gordon. That's the front three. And on the bench, Pope, Ruddy, Trippier, Joelinton, Wissa, Osula, Elanga, Byrne and Alex Murphy, who played the first 45 minutes for the under-21s last night in a 2-0 home win over Blackburn. Chelsea have made 2 changes. The goalkeeper, Philip Jorgensen, who was at fault for the Paris Saint-Germain third goal, and there were a couple of other mistakes in the final part of that game as PSG opened up a big lead over Chelsea. He has been left out entirely. Robert Sanchez comes back in as the goalkeeper. In defence for the home side, Malo Gusto, who scored their first goal in the Parc des Princes the other night. Wesley Fofana,
Trevor Chalobah and Mark Cucurella. Reece James, Moises Caicedo in the middle of midfield. Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez and Alejandro Garnacho, and Garnacho replaces Pedro Neto, who is suspended, but nothing to do with his incident with the ball boy at PSG. He's been given an additional ban and a fine following his red card against Arsenal recently, and that's after an FA misconduct charge. So those are the two Chelsea changes, Garnacho and Sanchez for Neto and Jorgensen, and up top João Pedro, the former Newcastle target, scored at St James's in December, one of 18 goals this season, a great season for João Pedro since choosing Chelsea. On the bench, the backup goalkeeper today is Teddy Sharman-Lowe. Tosin Adaraboyo, Benoit Badiashile, Liam Delap, Andre Santos, Mamadou Sarr, Yoral Hato, Mark Guiu and Romeo Lavia. Chelsea will always be strong, Ando, because of the depth in their squad, even though they're missing a couple, and they're also without Levi Colwill, Esteban Willian and Jamie Gittins because of injury. There's still so much depth there. Quite a few young players on the bench, but they've all got some senior experience. It's a strong looking team. The changes do not really weaken Chelsea.
No, not really.
Deal, do they?
No, I mean, they've got so much depth. You know, they've got so many players here. It's scary the amount of players that they've actually got. You know, they can name different sides, different squads for different competitions. That's how strong the squad is. But yeah, look, it's a strong side. Bad result for them in midweek. You know, they were in the game up to 75 minutes, 2-2. Concede 3 in the last 15 minutes. You would say that game management was all over the place. You know, big opportunity for them, even if they'd have lost 3-2 coming back here. Would have given them a realistic chance, but trying to claw back 3 goals, big ask for them. But yeah, the side he's named tonight is a strong side. But as you've already said, Ray, they're able to do that because of the depth of squad that they've got.
Newcastle United away to Chelsea, live here on BBC Radio Newcastle, and we're also on BBC Sounds, so if you're heading out you can take us with you on the free BBC Sounds app, or if you're heading away from the northeast, then you can continue to get the Newcastle United perspective on BBC Sounds. The Newcastle team has a couple of former Chelsea players in it, both fullbacks. Lewis Hall and Tino Livramento started their careers here at Chelsea through graduating from their academy. Livramento was only on the bench a couple of times before moving on to Southampton, and then Hall broke into the team, made 12 appearances, his debut at the age of 17 before eventually moving on to Newcastle United. And Lewis Hall had a tough start at St James's Park, but the 30 million they paid Chelsea for his services after the initial season-long loan now looks, as Eddie Howe points out, like great value for money.
It was a really smart piece of business by us to acquire Lewis when we did, and it was always with a longer term view. We knew he wouldn't come straight into the team. We wanted to bring someone in that we feel could develop into that position. You never quite know how it's going to go. He had a really tough first year to do a lot of work behind the scenes. In that time he had to really show mental strength and patience and commit to his development, and he's reaped the benefits from that day, or that season onwards really, where he's grabbed his chance in the team and probably one of those players I'd say is playing his best football currently. I think there's loads more to come from him, and I think there's still areas of his game to focus on and improve, but he's got a lot of strengths that not many players in that position would have, and that's what makes him stand out and catch the eye. So we hope that he can continue to stay here for a long time.
I know Harvey Barnes got man of the match against Barcelona, but it was Lewis Hall's night really. He was unbelievably good, but those are the levels that he can get to, Ando, and probably go beyond, as the manager's just said there. Chelsea, I'm not quite sure why they let him go. Maybe even with their high levels of income. Maybe they do have to sell players as well, just to keep an eye on things for PSR. But given the way that he's developed, they'll probably regret that, as they would with Livramento as well, maybe. Although the two fullbacks they've got today, Cucurella and Gusto, are rather good as well. But Lewis Hall has been outstanding this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been brilliant. Chelsea must look on in envy, to be quite honest, and wonder who okayed both of these boys to be sold. Would have saved them an awful lot of money, but as you say, because of the money that they spend, they've obviously got to level that out by selling some of their academy boys and younger boys. I doubt very much that they thought Hall was going to develop into the player that he's turned into, because if they had have thought he was going to be that good, there's no way in the world they would have let him go. Similar to Livramento as well. They broke through the ranks here at Chelsea, which isn't the easiest thing in the world to do. But I honestly believe that if they'd have felt that they were going to turn into the players that they have, there's no way in the world they would have sold them on. And I would imagine that they're questioning whoever okayed that deal and signed it off. They'll be asking questions about it.
Good to see Livramento playing, starting again. Couple of appearances after his injury. It's a great option to have Livramento to come on in the last couple of games, and also to be able to start, as well as Kieran Trippier has done recently, and he has been at the very top of his game, some of his best performances arguably in the last few matches. Man United especially, Livramento is the future of that position, hopefully at Newcastle United, even with speculation about him and Manchester City that will not go away.
But there's always going to be speculation. It's something that you're going to have to get used to. If you've got good players, rumour mill's going to go, isn't it? He's not the only one that's been talked about. Tonali's been mentioned, Gordon's been mentioned, Guimaraes has been mentioned, so it's not just him that's been mentioned. But this is what happens when you've got good players. Some of it you take with a pinch of salt. We'll just have to wait and see what the summer brings, but you most definitely wouldn't want to lose him, that's for sure, because as you say, you could see him and Hall being two fullbacks for a lot of years to come. They're still young boys, they're still learning. It's a scary thing to say that they can only get better as well. When you see the level that they're at this moment in time, to say that they can get better, it's a frightening thought, because they've been absolutely outstanding, both of them. It's been unlucky a little bit with injuries, Livramento. That would be a concern. But he's a quality player. He's good going forward. He's excellent one-on-one as well. Very rarely do you see anybody best than in a one-on-one situation. So as I say, you would like to build a team around those two boys. You'd like to think that they are going to be the full-backs in black and white for a lot of years to come.
The Newcastle away fans to our left, the shed end of Stamford Bridge, two tiers, and they've got the upper and lower section to the left of the goal as we look, and stretching round to the corner. They've been trying to make themselves heard as best they can over the top of Madness, which is blasting out of the public address system. Players will be lining up in the tunnel any moment for this 5:30 kickoff. And referee tonight, Paul Tierney from Greater Manchester, hasn't refereed Newcastle for a couple of years. The 4-1 defeat at Arsenal 2 seasons ago, February 2024 was his last game. He's been a VAR and a fourth official for them in between times. Michael Salisbury is the video assistant referee tonight. Stamford Bridge is like Anfield, the Emirates Stadium, the Etihad Stadium, I suppose Old Trafford as well. Those 5 grounds where the teams that have dominated all play their home games, where Newcastle United have struggled, and 30 Premier League meetings before this one. 1 win, 7 draws, so that's 10 points out of a possible 90 here in the Premier League, and almost 14 years, incredibly, since Papis Cissé's brilliant double, one stunning goal at either end. Their only win, they did win a League Cup tie here, they nearly won a League Cup tie here a couple of seasons ago, but they tend to get beaten when they come to Stamford Bridge.
It's not one of the
frustrating place for them to visit.
No, not one of the lucky hunting grounds, that's for sure. Record here, as you rightly say, speaks for itself. Hasn't been great, but somewhere along the line, those records have got to, they've got to stop. They come to a halt. There was a spell where it didn't matter where we went to in London, we couldn't win. But that had to come to an end. It did. Then a little bit like London buses, when you do it once, all of a sudden seem to be able to do it over and over again. So look, as I say, it's got to come to an end sometime. Hopefully that could well be tonight.
If they win here today, Newcastle United, just expanding on that point about wins in London, it would be 2 in a row because of the victory over Spurs last month, but also they would reach a total of 50 Premier League away wins in London, although considering that's over more than 30 years when you average it out, considering they're down here 6 or 7 times a season, it's not that many. But as a team from outside the capital visiting London, that would be, I suppose, something of a milestone, although it's a bit of a niche statistic provided by Opta, who supply data and stats for Premier League matches. Newcastle United, 6 changes tonight up against Chelsea here at Stamford Bridge, who have made 2 changes of their own. They are 5 points, Newcastle, from the European places with 9 games to play, and this one tonight falls in between the 2 legs of the Champions League tie against Barcelona.
It could be huge, and I think we won our last game in the Premier League, so we're trying to build some consistency at last in the league, which we haven't done well enough throughout the season. So it's not lost on me how important the Premier League is, and I'll impose that onto the players. I think the players will know how big it is. But I said, you can't change human nature. I think we have to accept that there will be not just Barcelona, but Sunderland ahead on the horizon, and the players will be aware of that. But I'll be telling them that we have to perform in this game.
And the players of Newcastle United and Chelsea are out and have shaken hands. United's outfield players take off cream-coloured tracksuit tops, and it's black and white stripes, black shorts and black socks. Ramsdale wearing purple. And in front of the goalkeeper, Livramento, Chow, Botman, Hall, Willock, Ramsey, Voltamada, Murphy, Barnes and Gordon. And on the bench, Pope, Ruddy, Trippier, Joelinton, Wissa, Osula, Ilanga, Byrne and Alex Murphy. Chelsea, Sanchez in goal, Gusto, Fofana, Chalobah, Cucurella, James, who's just signed a new 6-year contract, the homegrown star of Chelsea, Reece James, Caicedo alongside him in the middle, Palmer, Fernandes, Garnacho, João Pedro up top. He is terrific, isn't he, João Pedro? And Newcastle really missed out there when they lost out to Chelsea last summer.
Yeah, he was one that we wanted, that we tried to get, unfortunately couldn't. Quality player, good player. He's got great ability. Decided he wanted to stay in London, he wanted to stay down south. If players decide that, unfortunately there's not a great deal you can do.
It's a huddle for Newcastle United in their half of the pitch, and Chelsea did this in a game recently. Was it at Aston Villa? Their last Premier League match, which they won 4-1 away from home. They have their huddle around the centre spot. So they're across the halfway line, all huddled together. Referee Paul Tierney, wearing luminous yellow and black, is next to them. Something that the manager Liam Rosinia has brought with him, and his staff are I don't know, part of the psychology, Ando, I suppose, which I wouldn't imagine you're particularly into. But
well, doesn't matter where you do the huddle. Does it have an effect on anybody apart from yourself? Not too sure it does, but yeah, each to their own, I suppose.
It's a huge week for Newcastle United. The second leg in Barcelona on Wednesday, then the derby, but tonight this is pretty big as well. They need to get Premier League points, they need to move up the table, and they're underway against Chelsea in West London here on BBC Radio Newcastle, BBC Sounds and the Newcastle United website and app. Shooting towards the right hand side, Chelsea blue shirts, blue shorts, white socks. Newcastle throw on the far left side of the pitch. Voltemada has started as the left-sided central midfield player. Gordon at centre forward. Ramsdale with a ball to Willock. It looks like Jacob Ramsey is the player in the middle of Newcastle's midfield, as Joe Willock miskicks a pass up the line and it goes out on this near left-hand side. Chelsea left full-back position. In fact, it's a much higher up where it's actually going to be taken from. The throw, Cucurella. Eddie Howe right next to him. It's quite a shallow technical area, and it's on a bit of a slope as well down to the bench. Chelsea back to the goalkeeper. Garnacho on the near side, tackled by Jacob Murphy. He screams for a Newcastle throw, doesn't get it. Cucurella on halfway in at an angle towards João Pedro, deep in midfield, and James, who started his career as a fullback but now plays in central midfield, to Caicedo. One back by Voltemada for Gordon, played back to Barnes, just behind halfway Newcastle. They've given it to Voltemada, he's used it well, turned it around to Willock, and Livramento galloping forwards, pushes it into the path of Murphy in the area. Murphy's cross blocked by Cucurella and comes out to this near touchline. Garnacho unable to keep it in. Newcastle throw,
good break,
about 15 yards out.
Yeah, good break, good move down this right hand side, got in behind that Chelsea back four. Tino
Livramento just pulling his socks up, and he has the ball inside his black and white shirt, drying it off. It's going to be a long throw by the looks of things. Sven Botman and Malik Chow are around the front post. Chow's being held. The throw is straight onto the chest of João Pedro, who brings it back out to the touchline. Plays it inside, finds Garnacho. Newcastle have wasted that situation, and Sanchez here, ball at his feet, plays it out first time. And James up to Palmer. Scored the winner in this fixture last season, but it was about 18 months ago. It was in the October of 2024. I'm sure you remember that turn and pass that he played for it was for Pedro Neto, and I think it was swept in by Nicholas Jackson, wasn't it? It's a goal that's replayed often. Got 10 this season himself, Palmer. Newcastle have won it back. Barnes on the far side to Hall, drop of the shoulder, tries to come infield. His route was blocked, so he turns, goes back out wide, and then plays it back to Chow. And Ramsdale standing outside the penalty area onto Malik Chow. And Sven Botman on the left side of Newcastle's half of the field. 0-0 in the 4th minute.
It's been a sedate start, hasn't it?
Had that one break, Newcastle. Joe Willock, good turn in midfield. Oh, the pass is behind Voltemada. Willock chases after his own ball, but Reece James gets there, right side of the centre circle. Enzo Fernandez for Chelsea. Newcastle drop back in. Garnacho providing a lot of width on this near side. Livramento keeping an eye on him. Ball comes to Cucurella on halfway. And he acknowledges Garnacho's position, but doesn't play it. Instead gives it back to the central defenders, and Cucurella's got it again now from Trevor Chalobah. Chelsea possession, going back to the edge of their area. Chalobah inside to Sanchez, chased by Gordon. And a long ball, but too long for João Pedro, straight through to Ramsdale.
Yeah, both sides feeling each other out, not giving a great deal away.
There's one for Harvey Barnes to chase after. Sanchez backpedaling, gets on his line. Barnes tries to cross.
Yeah, difficult, wasn't it? Ball was just getting away from him.
Straight at the goalkeeper, near post.
Did well to get something on it, actually.
Fofana in his own penalty area, up to Palmer. Botman has pushed right up the pitch to stick with Palmer, who lays it off. It's gone back to the goalkeeper. It's long again from Sanchez. There's a bounce and then onto the head of Chow. And Palmer sees it out for a Chelsea throw just inside Newcastle's half of the pitch, far side of the field. Stand on the far side has a lower tier than 2 levels of hospitality seating. The upper bit has glass boxes, and then there's a general admission area at the top of it. It's the biggest stand at Stamford Bridge. 2 ends behind each goal, 2 tiers. Long ball forwards by Sanchez. Despite their success and size as a club, Chelsea, it's not one of the bigger Premier League venues. They have been on about moving, haven't they? But Stamford Bridge, they remain where Newcastle are looking for only a second Premier League victory. A goalless start tonight after 7 minutes. And this is Chow. Went for the diagonal.
Yeah, went for that diagonal switch, didn't he?
Too much on it. Barnes unable to get up the line and get that. And a throw at right fullback for the home side. Liam Rossignol, bespectacled, arms folded in the technical area. Won 10 of 16 in all competitions since taking charge. Placing Enzo Maresca. Back to Sanchez from Chelsea. Chalobah to Enzo Fernandez. Jacob Ramsey at his shoulder. It's out to this wide area to Cucurella, up the line to Garnacho. Brought back, and he's misplaced the pass, and Livramento's got it. Tino Livramento, edge of the box. Challenge comes in, no foul. Livramento didn't really appeal, and a quick break now by Chelsea. First real chance for them to go forwards. Gusto, a couple of step overs, then a turn, and comes back to Palmer. They're on the right at the edge of the area, inside to Caicedo. Cucurella to Garnacho, left corner of the box, deep cross towards João Pedro. Behind for corner kick. Last touch was off a Newcastle defender just beyond the far post, stretching to make sure it didn't reach a player in a blue shirt.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest ball played in, was it? But obviously came off a black and white shirt last.
And it's a short corner played by James to Cucurella on the far right hand side. And it's that combination again, and they win another corner with Anthony Gordon getting back to make a block and put it behind. Every player in black and white is defending. Livramento is in the 6-yard box next to João Pedro. Chelsea have got players around the penalty spot. Out swinging corner, just clipped in, and a header onto the roof of the net from Fofana, who got up well enough, made decent contact with the ball, but his header wouldn't come down in time. Still 0-0.
Yeah, he gets up well, doesn't he? Free header, not too sure who's marking him. Can't keep it down. Lands on the top of the net.
Ramsdale goes long with his kick. There's Voltemada. Missed the ball and then wins it back following the Chelsea header. Tries to link up with Hall. Barnes has got it. Now on to Lewis Hall. Gusto leaning in, gets the other side. Hall commits a foul.
Good defending, wasn't it? Got his body between man and ball. A little bit of frustration from Lewis Hall, gives the free kick away.
In the corner on the Chelsea right. In the defensive third, Cucurella into the middle to João Pedro, comes back with it. Malik Chow has nudged him over. Free kick has been awarded by referee Paul Tierney. Newcastle starting this game 9 points behind Chelsea in 5th. 5 points the Magpies behind Brentford in 7th. That's where they would like to be.
Awful touch for Garnacho.
It's a Chelsea throw. Just next to the Newcastle bench to the left of the halfway line. Draw would take them 11th today. Remember, a win would move them up to 9th, but more matches coming later, and then 4 tomorrow in the Premier League. Cucurella. It's the centre circle to James. Now Palmer, it's on his right edge of the area, plays it with his left to Gusto, cleared by Chow. And Chelsea lining up a shot. Reece James went for glory, and it's way over the top.
Not too sure why Palmer didn't hit that, you know. Opened up for him, didn't it?
Probably wanted to cut in on his left.
Yeah, James is better than that.
James on the angle from 20 yards, hit it with his right. Newcastle start with a short ball out from the back. Botman to Voltemada, nice layoff to Hall on the left. He's had some really good touches so far. Voltemada in midfield, Ramsey back to Botman. And inside to Aaron Ramsdale, who rolls it towards Voltemada. That's a risky pass to play. Chelsea have won possession back. Garnacho goes on the left side. Garnacho into the area, rolls it straight at Ramsdale. It's a really weak and for Chelsea disappointing effort in the end, but Newcastle, Voltemada was played into trouble there.
Yeah, just because he's there, you've got to see the situation. There's a blue short right tied to him, so you don't give it to him, you bypass him.
Botman clips a long ball forwards. Fofana heads down. Caicedo has it onto Enzo Fernandez, facing his own goal. Jacob Ramsey tries to get a boot on the ball. Fernandez still has it. And Chalobah here has missed only one Premier League match. Trevor Chalobah. And that was through suspension after a red card. He's been the regular at the heart of their defence this year for Chelsea. Gusto on the right, looking for Palmer in the area. Cole Palmer has missed the target. Normally, when Palmer is in that position, the net bulges, but it's come off, I think, the outside of his left foot from just inside the penalty area. Having played it out wide, he got on the end of the pass inside, but put the effort away from goal.
Yeah, came out the outside of his left boot. Always gone away. Long way wide in the end.
He feared the worst when Palmer was in that position. He sliced it wide. Chelsea 0, Newcastle United 0. Gordon chasing a long ball up the pitch on the Newcastle left. Fofana has it and turns and finds Caicedo, and Chelsea have settled into the match now. Newcastle had the first proper attack. It's a noisy away section that we can hear from the left-hand side. Their team struggling to get hold of the ball for any length of time. Back with Sanchez to our right-hand side, edge of his penalty area. Through the middle, Livramento's header. Cucurella wins a header. João Pedro gets up and beats Chow in the air. Garnacho turns and rolls it back to Chalobah, and they're in their own half. Chelsea with possession with James. Newcastle standing off a bit, letting him come forwards. Caicedo to Fernandez. Willock breaks out of the midfield pack to try and pinch it, but can't get there. Then James onto Palmer, and João Pedro loses the ball. Willock to Murphy, onto Gordon, who spins, and now they've got the chance to get away. Voltemada's there, but Gordon passes it to Barnes. Murphy free on the near side. Barnes wide left to Voltemada. Cross is blocked. Joe Willock. Willock. Tackle. I don't really know why he was hesitating. He was slow to get to the ball, and he's been sent to the floor, and he stayed down, but Chelsea allowed to play on, and they're in the Newcastle penalty area here. Enzo Fernandez has hit his own player in the middle, smacked it against Palmer with a shot from the edge of the box. Now Garnacho trying to go for goal. And that's come off the outside of his right boot and gone a long way wide. But at the other end, when the cross was blocked from Voltemada, Willock was there, and I think he felt as though he had more time than he actually did. Lost the ball, got caught, Paul Tierney saw nothing wrong and let Chelsea play on.
Yeah, not too sure what he was doing, and ball's won as clean as you want. They break down the other side. What a strike that is, by the way.
Enzo caught it well. Might have been
Enzo
hits
wide,
it,
but just takes Palmer clean out, doesn't it?
Well, Joe Willock is walking back towards midfield. Seems as though Caicedo just collided with him when he won the ball, and Willock appears to be all right. Newcastle get the game going again with a long goal kick from Ramsdale. Chelsea decide to clear it into midfield. Willock with a header, and Voltemada for Gordon, laid off to Jacob Murphy. He's about 30 yards out. He's got Livramento now for support. Chelsea get bodies behind the ball. Newcastle on this right wing. Here's Jacob Ramsey back to halfway, and Malik Chow. Goalless on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Botman along halfway from Chow's pass up to Willock, and Barnes on the touchline plays it back 5 yards to Hall, and now to Botman, and Newcastle with a spell in possession, but around halfway. Ramsey to Hall, goes back to Botman. Chelsea forcing Newcastle back to where they started. The goalkeeper Livramento comes into the middle. Play it to Chow. Jacob Murphy's just up the line. Chow to Livramento on the half turn. Now comes forwards through the middle. There's a gap, and he's played it in behind, and Joe Willock is in one-on-one. Willock squares it. It's Anthony Gordon who rolls it into the net. Newcastle United take the lead as a ball from Livramento got Willock away. He was one-on-one, but instead of going for goal, slipped it to his left to Anthony Gordon, who did the rest. Gordon has scored his 16th of the season, and it's Chelsea 0, Newcastle United 1 in the 18th minute.
Well, how simple was that? Chelsea just opened up like the Red Sea. They just parted. Just there all on his own. It's a straight little ball. Willock's clean through, and he's done great because he could have went for goal himself. Instead, he just rolls it square, and Gordon just rolls it into an empty net.
But that play from Livramento, Willock might be offside.
No, he's not.
You sure?
Yeah.
Well, it's a goal for now. I think it was fine with the pass to Gordon, who was behind him, but Livramento made that run, and there was like a box around him in midfield of 4 Chelsea players, but he just went for the middle of the pitch and then slipped it in behind, and Willock made the run. There was a defender back at Willock who was on his shoulder, but he released the ball just in time for Gordon. And Newcastle United have a 1-0 lead at Stamford Bridge. The goal counts, there's no offside. Chelsea, well, when I saw a wider shot I was worried, but you with your full-back instincts looking along the line know far more than I do about offsides. Jacob Murphy for Newcastle, who've won it straight back, looking for Gordon. It's with Chalobah instead. Anthony Gordon's first Newcastle goal was scored here on the final day of the 2022-23 season, and it was a goal, a tap in at that end of the ground, set up by Elliot Anderson, if my memory serves me correctly, this time by Joe Willock, and it's 1-0. Gordon's 16th of the season, but only the 5th in the Premier League, but it's from open play. A statistic that is often used against him. And good to see as Chelsea play themselves into a little bit of trouble on the right-hand side of defence. They get it back to Sanchez. João Pedro controls the goalkeeper's long ball and then gets fouled by Chow near to the centre circle.
Needs to be careful, Chow. It's 2 or 3 of them he's made.
Great position to be in, though. Ando having a 1-0 lead, and a goal that was created beautifully by Livramento, and Willock played his part perfectly. This is Chalobah to James, and now Caicedo. They're 25 yards from United's goal. Enzo Fernandez tries to turn. Jacob Ramsey makes a tackle, and Tino Livramento looks to come on the outside of Cucurella, who wins a free kick. They've taken it immediately, pushed it up the line for Garnacho, who just keeps it in. Back towards Cucurella. That might have gone out. Referee says no.
He's a nightmare, Garnacho. Keep giving it to him.
Newcastle fans behind the goal got a close view of all of that. They're getting a bit annoyed. Thought they should have had a free kick on Murphy as Chelsea won it back. United lead 1-0 here on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. And Fofana up to Gusto, looking to go on the outside of Hall. He's delivered the cross, which is
easy take.
Yep. Gathered, welcomed in by Ramsdale near post. Ball is back in open play, and it's Hall up the pitch. Oh, Fofana's lost it to Gordon, and now Gordon's gone down under his challenge. Referee gets out a yellow card for the Chelsea defender. It was well wide of the penalty box and of goal. And what is that, 30 yards, maybe a little bit more, where the challenge was made. Gordon got it after miscontrol from the defender, and probably yellow card is par for that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Feels about right, rather than red.
Yeah, he wasn't clean through on goal, was he? There was other blue shorts in the middle. But Chelsea causing their own problems, wanting to play from the back all the time, wanting to play in bad areas. Keep doing it, you're going to get punished.
Had Gordon been able to get on the end of his touch, then he would have had a 1v1 situation up against goalkeeper Robert Sanchez. It is now a Newcastle free kick on the left. Lewis Hall next to the ball. Chow, Voltemada and Botman, the 3 big lads, are all round the back, and they move into the middle. Hall clips it in. Chow with a header that goes up. And
couldn't get over the top of it, could he?
Clears the goal in the end by a fair distance. They picked him out with the delivery, but it was a high looping ball, same for the header. Chelsea play it up to Palmer, who turns far side, spins again into João Pedro, wide to Gusto on halfway, and James turns in midfield, plays it back to Fofana. He's had some awful injury problems at Chelsea, missed a full season, and was out for a long spell last year, but playing regularly again. Yellow carded though for that challenge on Gordon. He plays it now back to the goalkeeper. Chalobah turns on the edge of the area, Gordon with him. Chalobah towards Sanchez, Gordon chasing after that one as well. Keeper swings it away, long ball. Malik Chow heads forwards, and it's gone out off Gusto.
No urgency about Chelsea at all, is there?
Newcastle United lead 1-0 through Anthony Gordon's goal, which was scored 7 minutes ago. We've now played 25. Ramsdale clips it forwards. Just got away from Gordon. Voltemada onto it quickly. Voltemada brought down as he heads towards the Chelsea penalty area. Yellow card shown to... Was it Caicedo? I think it was Moises Caicedo who stuck out a leg and cut across Voltemada. He says he got the ball.
Well, he did. When you see where the ball went.
2 Chelsea players in Paul Tierney's book.
He's won.
Well, when you think of the yellow cards that weren't given to Newcastle's opponents the other night, that one will, they'll take it.
Yeah.
Quickly taken free kick, Hall to Livramento. Murphy tries to cross, it's blocked. Chelsea get it back properly at the edge of the area, but Livramento breaks up the flow of the counter-attack, and then United force them back into the box, but they move it up the pitch on the far right-hand side, and Gusto, he's quick, he sprints forwards with the ball under control, plays it to Enzo Fernandez, back to James and inside to Caicedo. Reaction at half-time in this match to Sunderland's 1-0 home defeat by Brighton. Yankuba Minte, the goal scorer, and also Gateshead's draw with Sutton in the National League, conceding a late equaliser, Gateshead, but not far off safety now after a good run of form. And all the non-league scores will also come at half-time here. Chelsea still have possession, Newcastle still have the 1-0 lead. Caicedo, middle of United's half, with every black and white shirt behind the ball, trying to create something or thread one through. Barnes flicks away Caicedo's pass to the far side of the area. And they have to go back up the right-hand side, then across midfield towards Cucurella, up the line to Garnacho, taking on Livramento with a step over, then a pass inside. Fernandez near the edge of the area. Enzo Fernandez plays it 5 yards to his right to Caicedo. Jacob Ramsey comes to close down. Now Jacob Murphy gets close to Fernandez. He plays it against Willock. Caicedo looking for Garnacho, can't control
the medicine ball.
You've not been too impressed by the former Man United player Alejandro Garnacho, no. Livramento back to Chow, who has a touch and then lifts it forwards. Fofana's header, there's Botman on his chest. And he's given it to Murphy, hooked across to the far side. That's turned into a good ball. And Barnes, nice header, nodded back to Hall, who comes over halfway, then returns it to Barnes. They are 20 yards or so from the goal. Barnes inside to Hall, then the return pass over, hit by the full-back, and it's a goal kick.
Unlucky. Good idea. Little give and go, little 1-2. Hall's ball just overhit.
Chelsea again playing it short, now back to Sanchez. And João Pedro's headed it straight to Lewis Hall. Hall on one of those runs. Got away from one challenge, not another. Voltemada, great tackle. Voltemada. Strong midfield play. Here's Jacob Murphy lining up a shot maybe. Oh, he's gone for the through ball. Oh, it was there to be hit for Murphy as well. But Malik Chow wins it back. Up the line to Livramento. Garnacho is with him. Livramento fires in across. Gusto clears. Murphy gets it back 20 yards out. Heavy touch from Murphy. Enzo Fernandez back to Cole Palmer. And Chelsea, under pressure there, have worked it and moved it really well. And this could be trouble because it's Garnacho into the penalty area. His cut back has come to Palmer, right side of the area. He's hit the heels of Botman. Barnes takes it back into the box and Ramsdale sticks it out on the far side.
But what was it? Was it a shot?
He went for placement, didn't he? If it was a shot. Garnacho was down on his haunches there and looked like he was experiencing a problem. It's back up, Chelsea with it in midfield. at the other end. Strong challenge from Voltemade, and I thought Murphy was going to let fly there. He was central position, 25 yards out, but went for the pass.
Yeah, he can hit them as well.
Scored a great goal here a couple of seasons ago in a 3-2 defeat. Late consolation, Jacob Murphy. Newcastle still have a 1-0 lead through Anthony Gordon's tap in. Chelsea pushing for an equaliser here with Caicedo and Fofana. Newcastle with everybody back. Gusto fires over a cross. Botman heads away. Fofana down to Chalobah in front of the centre circle. James comes to get it off him. And Reece James pushes it out wide left to Garnacho. Cucurella back up the line, this near side. And Chalobah to Caicedo. Over to the right touchline. Gusto. Hall and Barnes double up on him. They play it inside to Moises Caicedo.
That's all right. They can do that all night.
They're moving at Chelsea, but it's all in front of Newcastle.
Square and backwards.
Now a ball comes on the diagonal to a stooping Garnacho, who chests it and skips away from Livramento. Plays it to Fernandez. Caicedo, right corner of the penalty box now. They've gone from one side of the pitch to the other. Gusto tries to get away from Hall. Gets to the goal line, turns back. Caicedo, the home supporters want Chelsea to put the ball into the box. How many passes is this, though, in succession?
Yeah, but where have they gone?
Newcastle just concentrating, keeping good shape. Now it's lifted in. Ramsdale gathers. There'll be a clip played at half-time on television of all the passes there, counting them. Newcastle with one quick ball up to Barnes in the penalty area. Gusto still with him. He's kept hold of Harvey Barnes and forced him out wide, but Barnes has kept possession and brought it back to Jacob Ramsey. Straight back out wide to Barnes. Lots of blue shirts now back, but Newcastle still keeping control of the ball with Chow, and now Willock facing forwards wide to Livramento, who has a bit of space here. Inside it comes to Willock, and Chow across the centre circle for Botman, brought in tonight in one of 6 changes made by Eddie Howe. This is Barnes, so very nearly the match winner against Barcelona. Back to Ramsey and Botman. Hall as Chelsea push up and force Newcastle back. And Ramsdale with the ball at his feet. It's gone long, looking for Gordon. It bends out to this right-hand side. Superb first touch from Gordon. Nice layoff to Murphy. And here's Livramento. They've slowed it down, United, but they still got it. And Livramento comes back to Chow. Ramsey to Voltemade. Livramento inside to Ramsey. Into the penalty area, looking for the run of Willock. Joe Willock chips it, and it's tipped wide and behind, right by his near post, almost by the top corner near side by Robert Sanchez. It looked like that ball in behind was just going to beat Joe Willock, but he managed to get there only just, and Newcastle have been awarded a corner kick.
Yeah, well played. It was good play. Ramsey involved on a couple of occasions.
And Willock was well onside as well.
Chelsea are just so pedestrian.
And that was creeping in, so it needed to be dealt with by Sanchez. Newcastle's first corner. Lewis Hall with his left from the right. Chow goes down in the middle. Barnes has got it beyond the back post. Then he clips it back towards the middle. Goalkeeper gathers. Jacob Murphy comes across. Terrific sliding challenge from Murphy. It's out for a throw. Referee saying wait. Are they looking at a possible penalty? When Chow went down, that's all it could surely be. Paul Tierney has told Newcastle and Chelsea to hold on before this throw is taken. Michael Salisbury is the VAR. Yeah, there is a VAR check ongoing. It was Chow, wasn't it? Oh yeah, I mean, he's been dragged down, but No penalty.
Crazy, you get people.
No, look at that. Look at that.
Crazy, you get people's expectations up so much.
No, well, you can be fouled, but not get the decision. Take a look at it, though. He's been manhandled by James. Chow does have a hold of James as well, which might well be why no penalty was given, but VAR did take a decent look at that. No penalty kick, but still Chelsea 0, Newcastle United 1. And how would you describe the performance overall, John Anderson?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. Good energy about it. Chelsea slow, very predictable.
Lewis Hall wins it back on the far side, on his chest, up to Barnes. Voltemada drifts into the middle. Barnes back to Hall, they can't get a cross in. Lewis Hall plays it back to Harvey. Barnes is taking on Gusto. Barnes delivers and headed away by Fofana. And Palmer here at right full-back for Chelsea.
Oh, well played.
Plays a clever ball away from Newcastle players, and this is a positive forward run by Reece James. He's at the edge of the area, and again
Did he hit
went
his own player again.
went for goal. Yeah, and it's another Chelsea effort blocked by another player in blue. Palmer is up there now, and he protects the ball, keeps it away from Voltemada. Corner of the area, rolls it along the 18-yard line to Caicedo. Cucurella didn't want to take the shot on, plays it to Garnacho, then gets it back.
In front again, square.
Caicedo to Chalobah. And Gusto to James. BBC Radio Newcastle. And also on the BBC Sounds app. And if you have a smart speaker, ask it to play BBC Radio Newcastle. Listen to us on that. They've dealt with the immediate danger there, got it clear into midfield. But here's Cucurella. And now Palmer. This is a dangerous moment for Newcastle that Ramsdale is called into action for, making a diving save to his right. Decent save from Palmer's effort. Enzo Fernandez has it, forced away from goal by Livramento, and he wins the free kick.
Yeah, decent save, wasn't it?
Newcastle complaining to referee Paul Tierney. Livramento was pointing at the other end of the to the other end of the pitch. Paul Tierney gets some criticism and some grief from the away end. It's Chelsea 0, Newcastle United 1 on BBC Radio Newcastle. There's a stop in play, and it is to allow the players who are observing Ramadan to break their fast. That's Malik Chow for Newcastle United, of the players who are starting, and Wesley Fofana of Chelsea. Just a quick break. Referee Paul Tierney's whistle has sounded again to get the players back onto the pitch. It's been a good first half. They have the lead. Anthony Gordon's goal. And 6 minutes plus added on time until the interval, when we'll bring you reaction to Sunderland's defeat at home by Brighton and all the North East non-league football. But when the match restarts in a second, it'll be with the Chelsea free kick. Oh, it's at about 30 yards from goal, maybe a little bit more,
maybe.
And it's left of centre. Reece James scored a brilliant free kick at St James's Park in December to start the Chelsea comeback from 2 down, and a match that finished 2-2. But I think this is too far out for an attempt. Palmer's there as well. James has gone for goal. Tried to catch Ramsdale out of his near post, but Newcastle
had it covered.
Yeah, Newcastle's goalkeeper sprinted across towards his right-hand post. He was closer to the other side of the goal. It was just a sneaky one there, but Ramsdale had it under control. Ramsdale, long ball, Voltemada heads on, it's come up off Barnes' chest, it hit him really, rather than it being proper control. They found him again though with another pass, Newcastle, and Harvey Barnes turns on the far touchline, 30 yards out, plays it back to Jacob Ramsey. No Tonali today because of illness, he's not in the squad. It's Ramsdale, Livramento, Chow, Botman, Hall, Willock, Ramsey, Voltemada, Murphy, Barnes and Gordon. That's the 11. Lewis Hall looking for Joe Willock's run, but it's cut out by Caicedo. Willock running in behind, created the goal, and also he nearly scored one himself with that chip to the near post. So it's been an effective feature of Newcastle's play, even if he's only been able to do it a couple of times. There he was in a good position, but the ball didn't reach him. Chelsea attacking at the other end now, to our left, with James in the wide position.
Here we go, cross pitch again.
And Newcastle, everybody behind the ball. Now it goes forwards, and Gusto lifts it in, and Ramsdale comes and catches, and Gordon makes a run up to halfway, but Aaron Ramsdale decides to hold on rather than go for the quick ball, and he's released it, and it's into that area where Gordon and Fofana are. Wesley Fofana's header straight to Harvey Barnes. Fofana wins another header, and it's out for a Newcastle ball on halfway.
Yeah, Chelsea are so slow, so pedestrian, going from left to right in front, nobody looking to get in behind. It's all very comfortable to defend against.
Chow here, Willock tried to head it on, it brushed off him and Caicedo with him, and ran through to Sanchez. Chalobah to Enzo Fernandez. They've lost it to Willock and Ramsey. But Newcastle can't find Gordon, it's blocked, and then Chelsea get it back properly. But through a Chelsea mistake, they were almost in on goal. Still 1-0 up as we head towards half-time. Chow with a forward ball into the centre circle, which is collected by Chalobah. João Pedro, heavy touch, and he's lost it. It's out on the near side. Eddie Howe applauds his Newcastle players. Livramento takes a throw to Chow, goalkeeper's available. That's the pass that Chow plays. Ramsdale first time over to Botman, up the line to Hall. Barnes making a run through the centre. And come inside to Ramsey, back up to Hall. And back to Botman on that touchline far side. Lewis Hall's got it, and got it back from Willock, and Hall trying to play Gordon in behind, it's cut out. And James mopping up in the middle, plays it back to Chalobah. Chelsea have it with Cucurella now, and Chalobah in the D. Another burst forwards from Lewis Hall. Something he does as well as any fullback. Palmer drifting across midfield, ball at his feet. This is Cucurella to Caicedo, and so Fernandez brought forwards from halfway by Fofana, who gives it to Fernandez, right of centre, and a diagonal ball to Garnacho, who chests it. Passes it inside to Caicedo. Enzo Fernandez here. Plays it to his right to Fofana, up the line to Gusto, who gives it and goes, and Fernandez to the near post. Ramsdale comes and punches. The goal is unguarded. Gordon gets back, and wins a foul off Reece James, who brought it down with Ramsdale out of his goal, way off his line. But as he was about to shoot, James Gordon got there, took it off him, and James caught Gordon following towards the ball, following through with his left foot.
One team's playing with intent, one team's wanting to get to the ball, the other team's just...
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Numbers board.
Chelsea waiting for things to happen. Can't wait for things to happen. You've got to make them happen.
Ramsdale did well to punch there. I know it came to James.
Yeah, good decision, wasn't it? You know, it's a ball played into an area if you don't think, and he got a good punch on it. Got decent distance on it.
4 minutes minimum of added on time at this first half. Chelsea's last 2 home matches were disappointing for them. They drew with Burnley 1-1, conceded in the 93rd minute, and it was a 2-2 draw with Leeds prior to that, when they were 2-0 up after half an hour. Their last Premier League game was a 4-1 win at Aston Villa, which was very impressive, including a João Pedro hat-trick, but here not quite what they would have wanted in recent times. Newcastle United leading, enjoying a good first half in West London. 1-0, long ball from Ramsdale, Willock not giving it up. Caicedo sees it out for a goal kick. Willock followed it all the way to the goal line. Caicedo just had to make sure, and it's a short ball played by Chalobah, then a long pass from Sanchez. It bounces and Livramento plays it back to Ramsdale.
He won't. He'll pretend to run after that.
Just has enough on it. Now, interesting ball by Ramsdale. It was nearly a perfect ball for Barnes, but headed back well by the impressive Gusto to Sanchez. Garnacho at the other end, not able to run onto Livramento's back pass. Chelsea with Chalobah in possession. His right wrist strapped up, Trevor Chalobah. Now into midfield, Jacob Ramsey wins it, and now Ramsey can bring it forwards. Baltimore steps over the ball, it comes to Barnes, edge of the area. Barnes now to Ramsey, takes a touch, deflected shot, pushed away by Sanchez. Murphy, right side of the penalty area. Jacob Murphy. Oh no, too much on that from Murphy for either a cross or a shot. It was just smashed back across the box. But Ramsey's effort took a bit of a touch, and Sanchez had to save it. Maybe he was deceived by the flight of the ball from a deflection, but they won it back well and have had another attempt at goal. Newcastle United, who still lead 1-0 at Stamford Bridge.
Chelsea playing out from the back. It's not that you got to win it, they just give it to you. They give it back to you.
Well, now they've switched it up, and the goalkeeper's gone long with that one. João Pedro won it. Jacob Ramsey gets the second ball. Lewis Hall clears. Gusto with a header. Willock tried to win it from 2 Chelsea men in midfield. Couldn't do so. Back they go. 2 blue shirts there, the centre backs. Fofana with a pass to Chalobah. Left side, comes over halfway. And we're almost at half time. Final minute of the additional period on BBC Radio Newcastle. And Caicedo here. Square to Fofana.
Square again.
Gusto on the right wing. Back to Fofana. Palmer, deep position. Voltemada with him. He's played pretty well so far in midfield tonight. Nick Voltemada, not heavily involved, but good touches. Made tackles when he's needed to. Helped set off some attacks. There's been some strong displays in black and white, and at half-time at Stamford Bridge, John Anderson, Newcastle lead it by 1-0.
Yeah, deservedly as well. They wanted more than Chelsea do. They want to win the game. They want to get the ball forward. Chelsea want to play it square. They want to play it backwards. They want to play... It's walking football, isn't it? Probably see quicker walking football than what Chelsea are playing at. There's no tempo to what they're doing. There's an inquisition going on out there in blue. the little huddle they had in the centre circle beforehand obviously worked, because they'd be absolutely nothing at all. There's only one side that wants to win the game.
And the goal finally really well set up by Livramento. Just took it through the middle, slipped it in for Willock, and square for Gordon.
He drifted into midfield. Ball comes to him, and he just carries it forward, and it opens like the Red Sea. Two centre backs. Joe Willock probably couldn't believe his luck. You know, he's there all on his own. There's no centre back to be anywhere near him. Could have went for goal himself. Decided just to roll it square, and Gordon's never going to miss. You know, rolls it into an empty net.
Half time at Stamford Bridge on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. It's going well. It's Chelsea 0, Newcastle United 1.
BBC Radio Newcastle at breakfast.
I've been filling in for Matt this week while he's been enjoying some well-earned sunshine, but from Monday, when Matt returns, he has a big surprise waiting for him.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
I wonder what that could be. Find out Monday morning when Matt is back with that, all the usual stuff as well, like What's the Word and the Canny Cryptic Clue.
Breakfast, weekdays from 6. Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle.
This is Dominic James back in the BBC Radio Newcastle studio at half-time. Then Newcastle United leading Chelsea by a goal to nil. Anthony Gordon, the goal scorer for the Magpies. Newcastle women also in action. They got a win underway at 6 o'clock away to Sheffield United. It is goalless though at Bramall Lane. I'll keep you up to date on how they get on this evening. Elsewhere though, in the Premier League, it's half-time at the Emirates. Arsenal go up against Everton there. Goalless though, as I say. Earlier on at Turf Moor, Burnley played out a goalless draw with Bournemouth. Later on, it's Manchester City away to West Ham. Our first commentary game of this afternoon though came at the Stadium of Light, where Sunderland lost 1-0 to Brighton. That is their third Premier League home defeat in a row at the Stadium of Light. A disappointing afternoon. And afterwards, BBC Radio Newcastle Sunderland commentator Nick Barnes spoke to the Sunderland head coach Regis Labrise.
I think it was a good Premier League game. Brighton were good on the ball as expected. Good press, good counter press. Probably we struggled a bit during the first 20-25 minutes to find the right answers, but was the case finally through our intentions. And the last part of the first half was good. We are dominant. We were able to sustain different attacks, which I think was interesting. Had an opportunity at the beginning of the second half, didn't score, disallowed for a few centimeters. And they had just one opportunity during the second half and scored. So I think this is the Premier League and it's relentless.
You spoke about Brighton in the build-up, their very clear style, and you can see why they are so difficult to play against this afternoon.
Yeah, I think the lads did well because they have many variations, and so you can prepare the game plan, but you have to stay adaptive, and they were confident to take risks when they went short, to manage the long balls as well. So I think this part of the game was excellent, and it's a good and strong part of our game. After that, we still have to improve. Probably the most important is the final turn, and we still lack a bit of quality to be a bit more clinical.
That is the Sunderland head coach Regis Labrise talking after the Black Cats 1-0 defeat to Brighton at the Stadium of Light early. The full version of that interview is available to listen to on BBC Sounds. Just search for the Sunderland AFC podcast feed on there, and you'll find all the post-match reaction to today's result on there. But now on BBC Radio Newcastle, let's turn our attentions to non-league football. BBC Radio Newcastle's Paul Dixon, our local football expert, joins me back in the studio. Dick, you were at the Gateshead today. They're so close to securing 3 points against Sutton, and it finished 1-1.
It did, Dom, and it was, for me, disappointing at the end of the game because I think they should have had all 3 points. They played exceptionally well. 2 wonderful goals. First one from Harry Chapman, 29 minutes, curled it into the roof of the net about 20-odd yards out. But then on 84 minutes, wonderful goal by Dubem Eze, who scored one of the best goals I've seen for a long, long time. It was brilliant. After the game, I had a quick word with Rob Elliott, the Gateshead manager. Rob, a real good game. I thought you played some good football. Do you feel as though you should have won?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, really should have done. And I think ultimately was let down by, firstly, what a brilliant goal from there, lad. We just watched it back there, and if he puts it where he puts it in, then from there, there's not much we can really do in terms of, sometimes you hold your hands up, just like Chappie's goal. But to be fair, what's really disappointing is Ash scores one, he's onside, it's given offside, and they should have had one, if not two men off the pitch. The ref goes for a yellow card for the second one, and he decides last minute to take it away, and it's unacceptable, completely unacceptable. They go down to 10 when we're 1-0 up. We comfortably win that game. Hit the bar at the end, long throws. Couldn't get over the line, but the lads have been absolutely tremendous, not forgetting the journey we've had for the last 7 weeks, 7 days. We've been here, there and everywhere. The same teams rolled out. I mean, absolutely fantastic. And the subs have come on, give us energy, give us composure, and just really pleased and proud of this group.
It's incredible the run you've put together. As before the game, I heard you talking to us at BBC that you are thinking more like a mid-table pushing forward team than a team that's trying to get out of relegation, as you would say. But you're really now got to put that behind you, and you've got to look to Tuesday against Wealdstone and get something out of there, haven't you?
Yeah, and by the way, Wealdstone are a top team. They're a very, very good team. I think they'll actually make a late play for the playoffs. So I think it'll be our toughest test, if I'm honest. So look, we just got to look forward, attack that game the best we can.
Yeah, that is the Gateshead manager, Rob Elliott there. And Paul, you kind of got to look at the positive today, and it could be a point that, at the end of the season could come valuable.
Well, it could. I mean, if you look where they are, they're still second bottom on goal difference. But the run they've put together, Dom, has just been absolutely amazing since Rob's took over the reins there. Yes, he says it's a tough game on is it Wednesday or Tuesday?
Tuesday night.
Tuesday night, but he'll have them up and ready for it. I mean, there's a long way to go yet. If they could finish fifth bottom, I would say to Rob, that's real success.
Well, it doesn't matter where you finish as long as you survive, basically.
Correct.
Let's look through some of the other results in the National League North. South Shields today, they lost 2-1 away to Hereford. Disappointing result. AFC Fylde leapfrogged them into first. I'll get your thoughts on that in a minute, Paul. But to the NPL Premier, were Morpeth Town, a huge result for them today, beating their relegation rivals Hyde United 1-0. And afterwards I spoke to the Morpeth manager, Craig Lynch.
Yeah, of course it is. It's obviously, like you said, it's a well-needed win today. And like I said to the lads after the game, the 5 o'clock feeling when we're coming in, we buzzing, high-fiving each other. That's a feeling you've got to take in at 3 o'clock. And we've been too slow to start this season and conceded too many early goals. And today was about staying in the game. And we've done that, and we've ended up scoring a worldie of a goal in 1-0. Great result once the game's finished. But the last 5 minutes, even though we had 10 men, you still the blood pressure's through the roof.
Is this the sort of game that can change the season, and you've got 7 cup finals left now?
I hope so. Like you said, there's 7 games left, and winning in that manner today at home, 1-0 win from a great finish. We've got to take it on to Bamber Bridge next week, and we've got to pick up. Well, we've only picked up 5 points away from home, so if we get 6 from our last 3 away games or 4 away games, then that'll be a good continuation of form. So we've just got to, it doesn't matter if it's 7 games or 30 games, it's about getting 3 points, and we've got to find a way of doing it now because it's even bigger at stakes.
Yeah, you mentioned it there. It's just about results, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Look, we didn't play the greatest of football today, but like I said, we've gifted too many goals this season, and it's not been for fact teams have carved us open through good play. We've defended really well, but then whether or not switched on, concentration, confidence or whatnot, but we've given away a lot of goals. And like I said, first 15 minutes you've got a mountain to climb, whether you're home or away. And today we stayed in the game. I was actually glad it was 0-0 at half time. I seen that as a positive. And then we've just grinded them down. Great goal. They've gone down to 10 men, and even though without scoring, we've seen the game out well.
You just have to keep believing that you can stay up, ultimately.
Of course. Yeah, of course we do. Look, there's plenty of teams in the round. There's plenty of teams in the rounders. If we can get another 3 points, that brings Rush all into it if we don't win. But we just got to concentrate on ourselves, and whatever we do for the last 7 games, if it's enough, I'll be absolutely delighted, because I said on our Morpeth interview a few weeks ago, everyone just sees 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock or a night game, but all the work that goes in behind and all the lads put up with all season, our dressing room different to others, and I would be delighted for them if we manage to stay in the league.
That is the Morpeth manager Craig Lynch speaking after their win today. Elsewhere in the NPL Premier, Haben Town, they drew 0-0 away to Wrongton, means they stay top of the division on goal difference. In the East Division last night, Ashington losing 5-2 away to Newton Aycliffe. Blythe Spartans today, they drew 2 with North Ferriby. Concert 3-1 winners at home to Lincoln. Heaton Stan, a great result for them today. They went away and beat Emley 2-0. Emley second place division, Heaton Stan in 8th. And here is the Heaton Stan manager, Dean Nicholson.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I think it's probably a performance of the season. I think it's probably a result of the season as well. But I thought 1-16, they were absolutely to a man, fantastic. Ran through a wall for each other. That battle inside in the first half, down that hill with the wind, with the sun in their eyes, that all the elements against them. But they've defended fantastically well. They've restricted them to one chance with a set piece where Brassy saved it. And then second half, I thought we were the better side for 45 minutes. I thought we were fantastic. We've had several chances. Dale's taken 2 brilliant ones. And yeah, thoroughly deserved 3 points, I thought. We know how good they are at home. We know how strong they are. We've seen that at our place. They're a very, very good side and a very, very hard team to score against. So, yeah, we're winning at 0-0. We tweaked a few things and said, can we now be more attacking and get after them a little bit more? And as an attacking unit and an attacking team, second half, I thought we were excellent. I think we created chances whilst keeping that back door shut. I thought we defended tremendously, and Joe Robson in front was an example of what you can be if you want to roll your sleeves up and get your knees dirty and dig in, and he's won every header and every tackle. Him and Burnsy in midfield with JJ were fantastic. So yeah, a huge win, which sets us up nicely for Wednesday.
Yeah, great result for Heaton Stan. Paul Dixon, let's just get some of your quick highlights from today's result and your thoughts. A bad result for South Shields first of all.
Well, very, very disappointing. The last 2 results have been disappointing. When I last seen them against Fylde, and they played wonderful and they deserved to win the game, they went away to Chorley midweek and, they just got a draw, and they've gone away where you would expect them to get 3 points. I think they'll be all little bit disappointed, and the Shields fans will be disappointed. Can I just say well done to Heaton Stan as well? That's a fantastic result to go to Emley and come away winning 2-0. And just listening to Dean there, they must have played exceptionally well. Quick word on Morpeth. They've got to survive. They've got to win games, but it can be in their hands to do that, Dom.
And Dunstan, of course, another
brilliant win. Dunstan, yeah, done very well. Back in the playoff position. Yeah, so we wish them all about. They need to have a little extended run now, winning some games, so it will eventually put them in the playoffs.
Of course, because they've had so many years of hurt. Dunstan have tried
last
to get
2
up.
Years. I remember them very much, Tom. Yes, the last 2 years really disappointing.
Indeed. Well, Paul Dixon, thank you very much for your company throughout the afternoon here on BBC Radio Newcastle, and as your local football roundup for this weekend. Of course, will not be back next weekend because of the derby being played on Sunday. But now on BBC Radio Newcastle, it's time for us to head back to Stamford Bridge for second half commentary of Chelsea versus Newcastle United in the company of Matthew Racebeck and John Anderson.
Half-time highlights.
Total Sport Northeast.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Chow to Livramento on the half turn. Now comes forwards through the middle. There's a gap, and he's played it in behind, and Joe Willock is in one-on-one. Willock squares it. It's Anthony Gordon who rolls it into the net. Newcastle United take the lead as a ball from Livramento got Willock away. He was one-on-one, but instead of going for goal, slipped it to his left to Anthony Gordon, who did the rest. Gordon has scored his 16th of the season, and it's Chelsea 0, Newcastle United 1 in the 18th minute.
Total Sport Northeast.
Matthew Racebeck and black and white legend John Anderson.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Thank you to Dom and Dicker in the studio. Chelsea, they're going to do that huddle around the centre spot. The referee got caught up in it. He was in the middle of their huddle pre-match.
Did them a lot of good, didn't it?
They're going to bring on Liam Delap, the striker they signed from Ipswich last summer. Someone that Newcastle had been keen on, but he was always going to Chelsea. Only 2 goals in 29 games this season as a Chelsea player. Delap, Newcastle have made Chelsea wait, and now here they are in black and white, leading 1-0. Good first half, and the player going off is actually Malo Gusto, the right back, who is one of Chelsea's more impressive performers, and maybe Reece James is going to go to full-back, Enzo Fernandez a bit deeper, maybe João Pedro will play off Liam Delap. They probably had to change it, Ando.
Well,
Liam Rossignol and his staff for Chelsea.
They've got to run around.
Well, Delap will put himself about, won't he?
They need a spark from somewhere because they've been so pedestrian, and there hasn't been a player in blue who's put a shift in that opening 45 minutes.
The second 45 has begun on BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sounds app. Voltemade with a good win in midfield, and tried to roll one in behind for Gordon. There is a problem there. Sven Botman's taken a whack.
No, I think it's the way he landed. He went and headed that ball and he landed on his back.
It's on his
feet. Just winded, I think.
Newcastle have a throw on the right in defence, black and white, with black shorts and socks. Chelsea blue shirts, blue shorts, white socks. Newcastle shooting towards the goal to the left, the shed end where the away fans are. Back to Ramsdale, and his clearance is charged down by Palmer. Ramsdale was well wide of the goal, and it'll be a goal kick. No changes for United. So Ramsdale the keeper, Livramento, Chow, Botman, Hall, Willock, Ramsey, Voltemade, Murphy, Barnes and Gordon up top. Chelsea, Sanchez, James, Fofana, Chalobah, Cucurella, Caicedo and Fernandez, Palmer, João Pedro, Garnacho and Delap. Voltemade wins a header from Chalobah. Willock across to Hall. Now Barnes with Willock running in behind on the left wing. Barnes drops his shoulder, keeps going, finds Hall, looked for the ball in behind for the run of Barnes. Chelsea make the block. Enzo Fernandez has brought the ball out to this near side and
let it run out of play.
Yeah, taking it straight out. Newcastle's bench: Pope, Ruddy, Trippier, Joelinton, Wissa, Osula, Elanga, Byrne, Alex Murphy. No Sandro Tonali, he is ill. Chelsea on the bench: Sharman Lowe is the goalkeeper, Adaraboyo, Badiashile, Andre Santos, Sarr, Hato, Gue and Lavia. Newcastle play it forwards. Reece James wins it back. Chelsea play across their back line.
Pitch again.
Cucurella to Chalobah, and now Sanchez.
Go on, they'll give it to you. Go on.
Through the middle. Delap backing into Chow. Malik Chow wins the ball, but it couldn't find a teammate. Then Sven Botman makes a challenge on Palmer. Hall's got it. Hall has overrun it. It's gone out. Throw taken just inside Newcastle territory on the near side. Enzo, heavily tattooed arms, comes and gets the ball. Receives it again from his centre-back Fofana. Up to James, inside to Palmer. Dangerous position for Cole Palmer. This on his left edge of the area. Good block by Joe Willock. Ramsey and then Murphy lose it. Chelsea force Ramsdale into a save. It was hit there by Delap. Ramsdale mid-height, diving to his left, pushes it away. João Pedro on the edge of the penalty area. Wide position to James, then across from this near side. Newcastle clear, only as far as Caicedo. Garnacho, drop of the shoulder, inside to Palmer, back to Caicedo. Garnacho lifts one in, Chow heads clear. It's a bouncing ball. Gordon goes for it with Fofana, but the defender had an advantage from his starting position. Then a deep cross, which Malik Chow gets up to flick behind.
Better from Chelsea. A bit more intent, a bit more pace. Good save again, Ramsdale, wasn't it?
Reece James getting a lot of love from the fans at the front of the stand in the far corner as he puts the ball down. Livramento with João Pedro in the goal mouth again. Plenty of movement in the box. It's clipped in. Chow with a towering header away. Now Gordon's got it. Gordon beats his man, and it's Murphy to the right. Gordon through the middle. Jacob Murphy takes over. Barnes to the left. Murphy into the penalty area. Oh, he sent Gordon wide of goal. And Chelsea get plenty of blue shirts back. It was a good break up until that final pass, but the attack is not over. Effectively 2-on-2. Gordon, great work. Murphy, if he'd wanted to come inside, he could have given it to Barnes, could have played it to his feet. Instead it was wide, but ahead of Gordon. And Newcastle now have gone back to halfway, and at the moment they're on the right wing with Jacob Murphy, who rides a challenge and then plays it back to Ramsey. Murphy gets it again. He's going to go for goal here. It's deflected, and Sanchez, has he prevented the corner? Yes, to the astonishment and the displeasure of the Newcastle fans peering over the advertising boards in the away end. Oh, that's miles out. The assistant's on the far side, but still. Anyway, Gordon got them up the pitch superbly, gave it to Murphy about at halfway. Just the last pass wasn't quite what they needed. Lewis Hall, long throw to the near post. Chelsea header. Joe Willock nods it back out to Hall. Comes inside away from Palmer. Newcastle United still lead 1-0. Livramento towards the right wing. Cucurella gets up to nod it clear. He gets a return pass from Fernandez. And Chelsea break into Newcastle's half. James to Palmer, wide right. 52nd minute. Chalobah to Fernandez, up to the edge of the box. Cucurella to João Pedro. Lots of black and white in the way. It's a deflection. Who did it hit? Well, it doesn't matter because Ramsdale stopped it from going behind, and he now picks it up. It might have come off Palmer, from Delap from that shot. So it could well have been a goal kick, but Ramsdale, having picked it up, kicks from his hands. Fofana, cushioned header. James out wide here, back to Fofana, steps over the ball, edge of the area, plays it inside to Sanchez. Gordon sprinting after it, and Chalobah forced back by Gordon into his own box. Fofana, edge of the area. His ex-Leicester teammate Barnes closes him down. James, left-footed ball up to halfway. Delap chests it, Botman wins it. Chelsea appeal for handball. Liam Rosenior gets in the fourth official's personal space and is told to get back into the technical area. Hall to Ramsey. Willock tries to spin away from Fofana and ends up fouling him close to the touchline on the near side. Still 1-0 to United. There's another Premier League match at 5:30 that got underway, same time as this one obviously. Arsenal 0, Everton 0. The leaders Arsenal could go 10 points clear of Manchester City, who play at West Ham at 8 o'clock. Newcastle would move into the top half and go 9th if this match was to stay the way it is. Anthony Gordon with the only goal. Chelsea in midfield. Caicedo to the left wing. There's more intensity, higher tempo to the game. Chelsea have upped it since half-time. Newcastle with one dangerous break a few minutes ago. Ramsdale forced into a save from Delap. Chelsea with a bit more pressure around the goal. While they are playing some of their football at a faster speed, still some slow play with some passing. Here's Cucurella, edge of the area, and Garnacho wanting to get the shot away, blocked by Botman. Cucurella slipped as he tried to cross it. Jacob Murphy clears to halfway. There's still been a bit of the slow sideways passing from Chelsea, but they are trying to get the ball forwards more often and quicker. Gordon with a header, back to Voltemada, nothing silly, back to Hall. His pass deflects off Fernandez and out near to halfway.
a bit more intent about Chelsea. It's a little bit quicker, but as you say, still going sideways and backways.
William Osula and Anthony Elanga warming up. Elanga in the first half when he was warming up was serenaded by the Newcastle fans. Good to hear that support for him. We also have Johan Wissa on the bench tonight. Gordon at centre forward, wanting the ball here from Murphy and getting it right corner of the area. Barnes far side. Gordon, does he want a corner? No, it's a throw next to the corner flag. It was kept in on the line by Fofana and then put out. Joelinton now joins the warm-up along the touchline. Botman and Chow come forwards for this throw from Livramento. Hall stays back. In it comes from Livramento. It's a Chelsea header. Jacob Ramsey there with a bouncing ball. Back to Lewis Hall, who lifts it up first time towards the edge of the box. Botman gets to it first. There's an overhead kick clear from Fofana, on by Hall, then by Botman, then away by Chelsea. Chow chests it, finds Willock, wide right. And Livramento takes a touch inside to Murphy. Under pressure from Caicedo, up the line to Livramento. Who got his feet in a tangle. It's a Chelsea throw. Eddie Howe goes back to Jason Tyndall, who gets off his seat on the bench, and now they're having a conversation. The throw played backwards and now into the 6-yard box to Sanchez, who delayed his pass, and then Fofana's made a mistake, and Gordon's gone down in the area from the challenge from Fofana, and Eddie Howe, with his arms outstretched, asks the question of the officials. Chelsea played into the Newcastle half. Delap here, strong play up the line to Palmer. Ramsey comes across and wins it back. Here's Voltemada, drop of the shoulder, and then he's brought down by Fernandez. Referee's let it go. Voltemada has brought it up to halfway. Referee then lets Chelsea play on because he didn't give the initial foul, and then it was a fair challenge. Now Garnacho away from Murphy into the box to corner, but what about that coming together between Fofana and Gordon at the other end?
No. Not every coming together is a foul, not every coming together is a penalty, and that definitely wasn't it.
We haven't seen it again. Gordon chased after the ball. The keeper's pass out to Fofana wasn't great. It was overhit. It hit Fofana on the leg. Gordon came across. No, Fofana got to the ball first, clearly. And lent in on Gordon, but no foul. So Paul Tierney was spot on with that one. Newcastle may have preferred to have the free kick in midfield when Voltemada was fouled rather than the advantage. Chelsea turned over possession and have won this corner that James clips in near post. They try to clear it, and Murphy is able to put it out on the far side. Now what's happened? There's a bit of a delay to the throw, but Cucurella gets the ball back in play. Newcastle United still lead 1-0. The ground where they've won just once in the Premier League, and 14 years ago nearly since that night when Papis Cisse scored those 2 wonder goals. James digs out across. Voltemada clears. Fofana's header inside. Willock pinches the ball from Caicedo, but it goes to Chalobah. Willock got his toe on the ball, pushed it away. Chelsea got it straight back. Garnacho on the left wing. Infield to Caicedo, chipping it into the box, looking for Garnacho. It's a header from Cucurella, and then a shot across the face of goal from João Pedro, deflects behind. Corner Chelsea on the right-hand side.
Seemed to take an eternity to hit it, didn't he? It's obviously taken the deflection, gone behind.
Now Johan Wissa warms up for Newcastle United. We've almost played an hour. Still 1-0 in front. James corner. That's a great header from Botman, close to goal and away. Cucurella comes across, wins it just before Gordon could. Now Cucurella on his chest, right side of the penalty area. His cross deflects away. Lewis Hall down under a challenge, free kick. Whistle went quickly from the referee as Chelsea lined up a follow-up effort. Romeo Lavia, the former Southampton midfielder, who's been beset by injury problems in his 3 years at Chelsea, is coming on. No sign of a Newcastle change yet. Hall is okay after that challenge on him. Ramsdale prepares to take the free kick. Caicedo off, Lavia on. Chelsea's second change. We will discuss the match with Ando at full time. We'll be with you till 8 tonight on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. And you can send us a message on WhatsApp. You need to put BBC at the start, and our WhatsApp number is 08000 321 333. 08000 321 333 for WhatsApp. Start your message with BBC or at BBC Newcastle on X. Baltamada heads it back. Foul on Enzo Fernandez by Jacob Ramsey. Middle section of the pitch. Free kick taken by Chelsea. Game has changed a little bit in the second half, hasn't it, Ando?
Yeah, there's a bit more pace about it, isn't it? First half there was no pace to the game at all. A little bit more pace at the start of the second half.
Palmer trying to make something happen. Floats the ball over to the far side. Garnacho stopped by Murphy but wins it back. And then Chelsea play it back towards halfway. Fernandez to James. He's occupied quite a high position second half. James, Chelsea being in this sort of spot quite a lot. Goal kick given as Palmer goes down under Baltamada's challenge. Needless to say, VAR will take a look at this. Palmer is rolling around by the goal line. Baltamada followed him in. Palmer let it go through his legs. Baltamada just backed away. There'll be pressure on the referee to give this, but Cole Palmer's holding his left ankle. Chelsea supporters near us, either side of the commentary box, get up and look at a TV screen on the wall at the back of this lower tier that we sit in behind the bench. And
you're kidding, you're having yourself on him, you're getting penalty kicks for that. No wonder the game's going the way it is. Every little touch in the penalty area.
There was penalty controversy when Newcastle drew with Chelsea in December. You remember the Chalabar challenge on Gordon. And if that's not a penalty, then Baltamada on Palmer there certainly isn't. Baltamada has won a good header. He's competed well physically today. And here's Hall, who always does so, and he's on his way to the goal line, Lewis Hall, and he's won a throw not far from the corner flag.
Been good again, and
cross there.
Been very good.
Coming off for Fana and going out. Going to be a double change. Joelinton and Elanga are ready. 64th minute on BBC Radio Newcastle. Lewis Hall prepares to take the throw. Every blue shirt is in the box. Can Newcastle get to it first? It's gone backwards from Delap. Chow trying to let it go for a corner. It's kept in by Chelsea. Botman's got it, turns, and his cross is blocked by James, and then it's cleared. Livramento runs after the ball
all on his own, plenty of time.
He's the only outfield player in Newcastle's half. When he got to the ball, plays it to Willock on halfway, ball in behind, Voltemada's made the run, Voltemada turns, plays it back, and it's at Cucurella. It was a great run by Voltemada, not a bad turn either. Now Hall challenging for it with Delap. Palmer has come away with it up this near side, and Newcastle have got to get back and they have to defend. Cole Palmer, deflected cross, Enzo Fernandez leaves it for Alejandro Garnacho, edge of the area. They play it back over to Palmer, right corner of the box. He's away from Willock, still Palmer, a through ball to Garnacho. His route to goal is blocked, he plays it to James. Cucurella down on his chest, far side of the area. Fernandez back to Lavia. And now Garnacho to Lavia. And Palmer, Chelsea, right to left, left to right. James tackled by Willock in the area. Willock up towards halfway, Gordon chasing, Fofana is there and has defended pretty well, and what a throw off Gordon. Still 1-0 to Newcastle United. Chelsea are asking more questions though, 25 minutes to play. This is Enzo Fernandez. Looking for Delap in the middle, Botman with a header, Willock having a look, and it's into space on this near side for Barnes, who nods it forwards. Barnes keeps it in, Palmer with him, Barnes to Gordon, who turns, comes back with it. That's intelligent from Anthony Gordon. Livramento wants it, Willock with a high ball, cross field, header on by Murphy, but it had already gone out. Just needed to take some of the weight out of that, Joe Willock. And this first change is Nick Voltemada going off, and I think he's done all right.
Yeah, he's done okay.
It's been a better physical display in midfield. Headers, challenges, running. His replacement is Joe Linton. They've put a bib on Anthony Elanga, an orange bib, and he's gone back up the touchline. So Voltemada gets a lot of thanks from the coaching staff for his performance. And on comes the physicality of Joe Linton. You can also give us a ring to talk about the match, and if you want to call now, we'll book you on to our phone in. Do our best to ring you back. 0800 234 6565. Joe Linton can't stop João Pedro, edge of the area. His shot hits Malik Chow. Jacob Murphy gets his head up and turns, and Willock into space for Livramento. Up and down tonight, Livramento, just like Hall on the other side. Two young former Chelsea fullbacks, part of a Newcastle team that is winning at Stamford Bridge. Here's Gordon to Joe Linton. And where's the next pass? It's back inside to Gordon. Barnes runs in behind. Gordon comes across midfield. Murphy lets it run for Livramento. That's clever. Livramento's delivery. Ooh, just too high for Barnes. Nice idea.
Throw in.
And they can stay up high then. James with the throw. Delap up the line, pushing Lewis Hall away. Just releases it now. Hall gets his boot to the ball first. Chelsea win it back, and it's out off Gordon, blocking James' pass. Elanga's back on the bench. Enzo Fernandez throws himself to the floor next to Joe Linton. James again, no urgency over the throw. João Pedro out to Palmer. Oh. One of the softest free kicks that you'll see, just light contact. He hits the floor, whistle goes. Chelsea have taken it. Livramento climbs and heads it on. Willock gets the better of Lavia. Still Joe Willock, and now Gordon just outside the box. Anthony Gordon, that's a good save by Sanchez, diving to his left. It wasn't quite top corner, but it was well struck by Gordon, and it's out for a throw on the far side.
Yeah, Willock's done really well, hasn't he? Strong, just pushes Lavia out of the way, gets it into Gordon, who tries to whip one. Decent height for the goalkeeper.
Livramento to Ramsey. They go back out wide right with Murphy. Ramsey down the line and inside to Hall near the centre circle. Hall returns it to the right wing. Willock holding it up, holding off Lavia. Gets away from him again. Murphy with a touch, then a cross. Sanchez plucks it out of the air. Chow right behind him, and Botman in there as well. And they both got to get back. Ramsey and Hall are the two centre halves at the moment. They're now back in position. Enzo Fernandez to Reece James. Chelsea shooting towards the right, and they've got it on halfway. 70 minutes played. Garnacho back to Cucurella. Lavia inside to Enzo Fernandez. They try and pick out the run of Delap. They found him. Chow slides and plays it off Delap and behind. Great defending.
Did well, didn't he? Ball played in. Fernandez plays it in behind.
Joe Willock is down with a potential injury. Newcastle's physio comes running on. Sean Beach with the medical bag. Not sure what the problem is for Willock. Maybe it's a tactical timeout. Both teams making use of the break in play. And it's Chelsea 0, Newcastle United 1 here on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. And our phone number to chat to John Anderson after the game, 0800 234 6565. Or if you prefer to send us a text message, we'd like your views on the match, and if you want to say something about the Barcelona tie as well, then we'll look ahead to that too. If you text SMS message 81333 and start your message with BBC. Sula and Wissa warming up. Elanga, the introduction that we were expecting. He's on an extended delay. Still there with his orange bib over his black and white shirt. Liam Rossini asks the fourth official about added on time for this. Joe Willock comes over to the near touchline with the physio. Slight limp.
You think?
Eddie Howe puts his arm around him. He'll have to stay off for 30 seconds, so they'll have 10 men. Langa's gone back up the touchline. Dan Byrne might be coming on as well. He's now warming up. How well placed, John Anderson, do you think they are to go and win it?
Chelsea haven't done a lot in the second half again. They've been a little bit better, but they haven't asked us too many questions, have they?
Ramsdale, high ball, it's gone out of Fofana. Gordon jumped in front of him, hit Fofana on the back. Throw on the left wing. The away supporters enjoying their night so far. Joe Willock still hasn't come back on. Some will have been here for that painful penalty shootout defeat in the League Cup quarter-final 2 seasons ago when they led until added on time and then lost the shootout. Ramsdale here to Joe Linton. Back to Botman, out to Hall. Chelsea working hard to win it back. Willock inside for Hall, but it's collected by Enzo Fernandez, who protected it well for Chelsea. There were 3 black and white shirts around him. Goes back to his defence, and now Cucurella up the line, far side to Garnacho. Cucurella gets a return ball and is crossed straight at Ramsdale by the near post. Chelsea needed extra time to beat Wrexham in the FA Cup last weekend before their PSG defeat. And they play the second leg on Tuesday night here. Newcastle have an extra day. Had an extra day to prepare for this because they played Tuesday, Chelsea played Wednesday, and Newcastle not in action until Wednesday tea time in Barcelona. Enzo Fernandez given away straight to Lewis Hall, and Hall just wants to go forwards. Only Barnes in attack. Barnes couldn't get onto it. It was deflected by one Chelsea player into the feet of another. Barnes looking like he's starting to tire after another big physical effort. Here's James, sends it over, and then Delap over the top. Cucurella managed to divert it into his path. He came round the back of Chow, who wasn't expecting him to be there, and Delap took a swing at it with his left, and it cleared the crossbar.
It's wild, isn't it? Yeah, it's wild.
If he just rolled that towards the bottom corner, he would have scored. Just needed to be caressed, really, rather than crash towards goal, but that suits Newcastle United. 15 minutes remaining. Ramsdale, his goal kick goes straight out on the near side. Joe Willock's gone down again. Eddie Howe has called for Dan Burn, so they might be switching to a back five. With Tonali unwell, and Willock having a good night here back in the capital. Could have some midfield issues. They're going to bring Elanga on as well. Osula and Wissa continue their work on the touchline. Double Newcastle change on the way here on BBC Radio Newcastle. 0800 234 6565 is our number. My challenge to you is, if you've never phoned us before, give us a ring tonight. Saturday night football, but we're with you till 8. Also on the BBC Sounds app. Give us a call, have a chat to John Anderson about Newcastle on 0800 234 6565. 0800 234 6565. Ring us now, and we can get you lined up for the end of the game. Dan Burn on for Joe Willock. Kieran Trippier is also coming on, so it's going to be a triple change. And Tino Livramento, 77 minutes on his first start after injury. Chelsea fans don't like it. Oh, hang on. The fourth official, Thomas Bramall, his numbers are a bit all over the place. Jacob Murphy is leaving the pitch, gives the captain's armband to Dan Burn. His first substitution had Lewis Hall's number on.
Tell you what, there'll be some added time here now.
Yeah. Well, added time was the issue the other night, wasn't it? Now Anthony Elanga has come on. What have I missed?
What?
They haven't put Trippier on, have they?
No.
No. I was trying to work out. I thought they might have had an extra player there. Fernandez into the box for João Pedro. Cucurella. It's a corner. Oh, they're screaming for handball, Chelsea. So are the fans behind the goal. Paul Tierney points his arm out at an angle for the corner. Enzo Fernandez lifted it in. João Pedro on Cucurella, and it hit Botman. I think his arm, if it did hit him on the arm, I don't know. We can't see from our first replay that we've watched. His arms looked like they were tucked in.
No.
It's just a corner which they've taken. Newcastle through Burn, head it straight back out to James, and it's another delivery. That's a dangerous one, and they head it just wide of the back post. It was Chalobah.
Yeah, I think he's got a clatter for his pains.
Oh, that was such a good ball in by James and Chalobah. There were two of them actually for Fana, the central defenders. They've got in each other's way. Newcastle still lead 1-0. Now they line up Ramsdale, Livramento, Chow, Botman, Burn, Hall, but a back five. midfield of Ramsey and Joelinton. Elanga on the right, Barnes on the left, Gordon centre forward. Ramsdale goal kick. It's out for a Chelsea throw, middle of their half. João Pedro flicks on. That goes out. It's Newcastle's throw.
It's a Newcastle ball.
Liam Rosinia doesn't agree with the decision. Lewis Hall takes it, and it's back to Dan Burn, inside to the feet of the goalkeeper. Ramsdale over to Chow. Chow looking for Gordon in the centre, headed away by Chelsea. Forward pass that Newcastle head clear and out on the far side, 35 yards from the goal. We're now at Stamford Bridge into final 10 minutes of normal time, and Anthony Gordon still has the game's only goal. It came in the 18th minute, set up by Joe Willock, who ran in behind after great work through the middle from Tino Livramento. Enzo Fernandez clips in a cross. Delap heads down. Joelinton's got it. Needs to be quick with the pass, and he is. And Elanga, who's quick with everything, is onto it. And he turns just behind halfway, comes inside, does well. Joelinton has got it. Back to Livramento, and Newcastle United slow it down, keep possession across the edge of the penalty area. Delap goes to close down Botman. This is Byrne up the line to Hall, and there's space for Lewis Hall. Over halfway now. Gordon wants it at feet. It's inside to Joelinton, who then moves it to Ramsey. Good possession from Newcastle. And here now Livramento for Ramsey again. Foot on the ball. Gordon outside the penalty area. Wanting to get the shot away. Gordon does. And it's patted down by Sanchez, who gathers it now and then drops it at the feet of Chalobah. An attempt on target, not quite as well struck as his last one, Gordon. And the curler that was pushed away by a diving goalkeeper. Now Chelsea try and play Delap in behind, but Ramsdale comes sliding, and there's a foul actually. Free kick given.
Looks heavy, doesn't he, Delap?
Chelsea change. Wesley Fofana is leaving the pitch, and Yoral Hato, Dutch international, £37 million from Ajax for Hato in the summer. He comes on, and Chalobah goes to right centre-back, Hato left centre-back. We also have Tosin Daraboyo on the bench, player who turned down Newcastle a year and a half ago when he was a free agent and picked Chelsea just across West London from Fulham, his former club. Newcastle United, no sign of any further changes. 83rd minute, still 1-0 up. Reece James to Alejandro Garnacho, who has come out to the right wing. Palmer is on this near side as well. Lavia, one of their second half substitutes, to James. Garnacho here to take on Lewis Hall. Whips over across Dan Burn, vital header clear, and now Gordon tries to hold it up edge of the area. He's been dragged to the floor, Gordon, by Lavia, and Paul Tierney blows the whistle for a free kick.
Yeah. They look like a team that's got no ideas at all, Chelsea.
They will still have time, and as you said a little earlier, Ando, maybe there will be quite a bit of additional time with the
Ramsdale's been yellow carded as well for wasting time.
The Joe Willock situation when he got treated twice on the pitch for an unspecified injury. And now Ramsdale with long forward ball, which sails behind for a Chelsea goal kick following that free kick for Newcastle United. But we've got 6 minutes of normal time to go. There are a few Chelsea fans near us leaving in the lower section. With the main stand. Delap, left corner, is the number 9 shirt. Gets there first, plays it back to Cucurella. It ran loose in midfield. Palmer just got there before Joe Linton. It's a bit sloppy from Chelsea.
They've been sloppy all night.
Still with the blue shirts of Chelsea. Slim figure of Cole Palmer on the right, curling left-footed cross and headed wide by Delap. Just got there, glancing header, got in front of Botman and beyond Ramsdale's right-hand post.
Yeah, decent ball played in. He's just got across Botman. Not on target.
Anthony Gordon was ill at the start of the week and only managed 25 minutes against Barcelona. He's got through nearly the full 90 tonight, battling with the centre-halves there from the long ball up the pitch.
Recovered well, hasn't he?
He has, which is good. Very important ahead of Wednesday, but I wonder whether they'll try and just give him a rest, take him off. Maybe Eddie Howe won't want to tinker with things. Newcastle still lead through Gordon's goal, 1-0. And they are closer to a huge win, but they have to defend still because Chelsea want their equaliser. Garnacho, Lavia, edge of the area, drags it back, threads it through. Garnacho sliding, can't keep it in, but Barnes got a vital touch.
It's an important touch and all.
Take it off Garnacho's toe. It's a corner on the near side. 87th minute. Everybody has come back. There's nobody on the posts. James, outswinger, headed away. It clears the penalty area. Cucurella's got it back on the floor and over to James. He rolls it up the line, and Lewis Hall makes a challenge. It's on Hato, and Hall with a clearance that reaches halfway. Cucurella chests it down. The curly head defender plays it inside to Chalobah. Joe Linton steps out of midfield. Soaking up pressure, Newcastle United. James from wide right into the middle to Lavia, forward to João Pedro. Botman being physical. Dan Burn gets it clear. And Hato struggled to bring the ball under control, but there was no black and white shirt near him. It's been a big physical performance. That pass from Enzo Fernandez hits Joe Linton. They don't really have a lot of power and pace left in their pressing game. Maybe from Elanga, who was brought on, but Barnes and Gordon have been out there since the start. Here's Palmer. Has he run it out of play? He's somehow just kept it in, wide on the right, in between the box and the corner flag. Palmer with it again, dropping his shoulder. It's at his left foot. Plays it into the centre of midfield to Lavia. Newcastle with 10 black and white shirts behind the ball. Garnacho.
Awful.
Deep cross.
Awful.
Ramsdale holds on, and there was nobody near him. It's out to Dan Burn. And they come forwards here. Burn to the feet of Gordon. Nice flick back to Barnes. Gordon was tripped, and now Barnes was tripped as well, and they've won a free kick. And that'll help relieve some pressure in the 89th minute, still leading 1-0.
Stupid free kick to give away, wasn't it?
So many times they've come here, they've played all right, they've lost narrowly. They've just not really had much to cheer at Stamford Bridge. 10 Premier League points out of a possible 90, sorry. 1 win, 7 draws in 30 attempts. And here they lead 1-0 as we go into the final minute of normal time. It's been an off night from Chelsea, no doubt about it, but Newcastle have been good. Lewis Hall with the free kick. Sanchez has pushed it away and won a free kick after he was caught. Chelsea say there was a counter-attack on and the referee should have let it go, but it has been brought back. And it will be a free kick. They will be 6 points behind Chelsea, who are 5th as it stands, if they hold on here. Chelsea could drop a place, and will do if Liverpool get something from their match, which is tomorrow at home to Spurs. And you might back Liverpool in that one, I dare say. As Reece James losing it in the middle of midfield, and in his attempts to win the ball back, he's fouled Anthony Gordon, and it's a brilliant free kick for Newcastle to win. But there's going to be 8 minutes of added on time.
Told you.
Late goal across London. Arsenal 1, Everton 0. Victor Gyökeres for Arsenal. Ramsdale on the diagonal into the corner. Barnes on his chest into the box, but it'll run through for the goalkeeper. Could be a long 8 minutes. The onus is on Chelsea, isn't it, to go and find an equaliser?
Yeah, they haven't done it. Haven't looked like doing anything in the 90 minutes we played. They haven't looked capable of getting one.
BBC Radio Newcastle and live on the BBC Sounds app. They are defending a 1-0 lead. Garnacho to Palmer. Joe Linton, he's fouled him and it's unnecessary. Palmer got in a bit of a mess there, and Joe Linton ran into him. Free kick, which is 30 yards. It's very central, isn't it? And the looks of things, maybe slightly to the right, but in kind of the central zone. It's like within the width of the posts. And we saw James score a precise free kick, well measured, at St James's Park earlier this season, and obviously Palmer has all the ability from range as well, so they might go for goal. It's a 2-man Newcastle wall, which is at the edge of the D, and 2 minutes into the 8 that were added. This is a huge moment. Palmer runs over it. James tries his luck, and he got plenty of whip on the ball, but it bent away from Ramsdale's left-hand post and behind.
It's a silly free kick to give away, you know. He's not going anywhere.
Ramsdale left
inviting pressure.
Ramsdale left a gap at that side of the goal, but he got across well. However, it was wide from James, not by a lot. Still Chelsea 0, Newcastle United 1. Joe Linton has dispossessed Enzo Fernandez, and Livramento tried to go over a challenge, but it's gone out for a Chelsea throw on the far side. And there are 5 minutes of the 8 remaining, but it's a minimum, as we were reminded on Tuesday against Barcelona. It is a minimum, so the referee can play on for as long as he wants. João Pedro, who's on the left wing now. Elanga's won it back, but I say won it back, he didn't have it under control. He just got something on the ball and it went out. Stopped the Chelsea attack, stopped that move. They've taken the throw and they've come to the right side. Palmer trying to play it in behind Hall. Lewis Hall's trying to let it run behind for a goal kick. He's had to stop it on the line. Then he's been clattered.
He's been cleaned out
by Cucurella. No yellow card for Cucurella, just Newcastle free kick. Cucurella came from nowhere to foul Lewis Hall there. It's like knee on knee. Free kick only. And there are lots more empty blue seats appearing around Stamford Bridge as home fans vote with their feet. Long ball forwards, it's gone out at right full back for Chelsea, so Newcastle without the ball again, but we are more than halfway through added on time here on BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sounds app. Remember, we're here till 8 and you can phone us on 0800 234 6565. João Pedro has held off Jacob Ramsey, played the ball though behind Enzo Fernandez. Fernandez has got it back. Lewis Hall with a header away from in front of goal, and Dan Burn has to nod it behind because Garnacho was poised to send it forward.
Didn't fancy a Garnacho, did he?
And he could have headed for goal. Dan Burn came across. Hall's header went up rather than clear, and Burn took decisive action. Chelsea corner on the right. 95 minutes played. Still at least 3 more to go. It's Palmer's corner. Newcastle header clear. James on the edge of the box, back out to Palmer. First time delivery. Burn with a big header out for throw. Near side, 25 yards away from goal. 2 balls on the pitch. Referee has said do it again, Chelsea. Palmer had flicked the spare ball off with his hand. He's now taken the throw in, the one the referee's happy with. And Chelsea still have it in the final third, wide on the right. Eddie Howe's almost
still
on the pitch.
Still playing it square, look.
Here's Enzo Fernandez, he's got room for a shot, blocked in the middle. Gordon stretching, trying to win it. Just couldn't get there, and Chalobah now to James. Gordon stops him from going forwards. James turns back inside. Botman heads clear. It's a stooping header. Joelinton there rises to try and nod it away. Elanga with a challenge. Gordon's got it. Elanga running through. Barnes, can he play it in behind? Elanga on the chase. Anthony Elanga's not giving it up. Well, if there's anybody out there that would have got there, it would be Anthony Elanga. But the ball didn't really give him any hope. And now with time ticking away, Chelsea go back up the other end. Still 1-0 to Newcastle United. Fernandez in the middle of the Magpies half. James to Palmer. Digs out a cross and a header onto the roof of the net from João Pedro.
It wasn't close.
And a lot of Chelsea supporters think that is that, because we're almost at the end. Eddie Howe still encouraging his players. Kieran Trippier from the bench is signalling some instructions to the 11 who are out there. Ramsdale goes long. It's a bouncing ball. James on his chest, plays it against Gordon and wins a throw. Inside to Chalobah. Paul Tierney, the referee, signalled for 8 minutes, and that time is up, and Newcastle United have won at Stamford Bridge for only the second time in the Premier League. Anthony Gordon with the only goal in the 18th minute. It's a massive victory in between the 2 legs of the Champions League tie against Barcelona, and a rare night of celebration for the black and whites in West London at Stamford Bridge. Almost 14 years since Papis Cisse gave them their only Premier League victory here. They've got another, and they move into the top half of the table. Back-to-back Premier League wins following the success over Manchester United a week and a half ago, putting big results together in a season-defining month. and so much to be happy about tonight. A much changed team. 6 alterations made by Eddie Howe, and they've got him and the supporters and themselves a massive result against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Newcastle United have won by a goal to 0, and they have won deservedly, John Anderson.
Yeah, look, we've suffered here in the past, but this was as comfortable as you could have expected it to be. Don't think you would have expected it to be as comfortable as it was. Chelsea were toothless, they played square, they were passive, played at a slow tempo. Even in the second half, when they upped it that little bit, it was still, you never felt under any great pressure. And as you say, deserved win, good goal. Livramento does great, Joe Willock does great, opens up like the Red Sea for them, and Gordon knocks it into an empty net. But it was a 1-0, it was a comfortable 1-0 win. Chelsea never looked like scoring.
They go to the away end to share the celebrations. 2 wins in a row in London after the victory at Spurs, including today. 4 of the final 5 away games are in the capital. They've got to go to Palace, Arsenal and Fulham still, as well as Nottingham Forest, so they'll be back down here hopefully for more points in London before the season is out. And it's their 5th clean sheet away from home. All the others have come in goalless draws at Villa, Leeds, Bournemouth and Wolves, but 1-0 away from home, Ando, is always a great result, isn't it?
Yeah, look, at our away form has come under an awful lot of scrutiny this year. It's got better in the latter stages of the season, and if you don't concede goals, you're not going to lose football matches. It's something that we've spoke about many a time. You know, at home we've conceded goals, we've conceded plenty of goals, but if you can come away from home and keep a clean sheet, you're not going to lose, that's for sure. And that's what we did tonight. Look, in all honesty, we weren't put under a great deal of pressure. You know, Chelsea had plenty of the ball, they knocked it square, they knocked it backwards, but Ramsdale had a couple of saves to make maybe, but it's not as if Chelsea have bombarded us, they haven't, and we deserve to win the game.
And the team selection from Eddie Howe worked well. There were some good performances from those who came in. He was able to give some key players a bit of a rest, including Kieran Trippier, Joe Ellington and Dan Burn. Hopefully Sandro Tonali will have recovered from illness in time to travel to Barcelona with the team when they fly out on Tuesday, the day before the game. But in many respects it's been a great night for them. Hopefully Joe Willock is okay after having to go off after receiving treatment. A big result away from home in a week where they need to then go and get another one, but this is the perfect preparation for what will be a really difficult night in Camp Nou on Wednesday, but could also be an epic night as well, and they must be on such a high as they travel there.
Yeah, look, it's only half time in this Champions League game. 1-1 at half time, all to play for. It won't be easy, but I think if we show the mentality that we showed in that first leg or first half of the game, so to speak, a lot of high pressure, a lot of physicality, disrupt Barcelona's passing game. There's no reason in the world why we can't go there and get a result.
Give us a call to have a chat to Ando. We're with you till 8 on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Our number is 0800 234 6565. That's 0800 234 6565. And we'd love to hear from you. If you've never called us before, then give us a ring now. Have a chat with Ando for a few minutes. If you want to send us a WhatsApp message or a voice note on WhatsApp as well, then put BBC at the front, and our number there for WhatsApp 08000 321 333. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp to discuss Newcastle United's win at Chelsea. Arsenal have beaten Everton. 2 late goals, Victor Gyökeres in the 89th minute and Max Dauman, the teenager who is 16. He's the youngest Premier League goal scorer. He got the second. Arsenal 10 points clear at the top, but Newcastle United on their way up the Premier League table, now in the top half in 9th position. They've moved above Sunderland, Fulham, Brighton and Bournemouth. They are only 6 points away from the top 5, and 5th will probably mean Champions League football again next season. A big week ahead. We'll bring you the derby next Sunday lunchtime, live on BBC Radio Newcastle from both perspectives, red and white and black and white, when we'll be splitting our frequencies. And on Wednesday, 5:45 kickoff, we'll bring you commentary from Camp Nou on Barcelona against Newcastle United. And Total Sport on at the earlier time on Wednesday of 4:30. Big build-up to one of the biggest matches Newcastle United will play here tonight. Huge Premier League success for Eddie Howe and his much changed team. Anthony Gordon with the only goal, and Newcastle's second Premier League victory at Stamford Bridge. It's finished. Chelsea 0, Newcastle United 1.
Anna Foster, weekday mornings from 10.
Mother's Day this weekend, so I thought I'd give my lovely old mum a call. It was chaos. It's always chaos.
Anna.
Yeah, what are you giggling about?
Well, Anna, I'll tell you what she's giggling about. She jumped up off the loo with her knickers and stockings at half-mast and ran for the phone with a bare bum and trousers.
Oh, dear.
You're a wonderful mother, I tell you that. I know with your children. I know all the things you do.
Well, you're very sweet.
You are a wonderful mother.
Anna Foster, weekday mornings from 10.
Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle.
This is Total Sport on BBC Radio Newcastle. Newcastle United winning then at Stamford Bridge 1-0. Anthony Gordon's first half goal gives the Magpies all 3 points this afternoon. Dominic James in the BBC Radio Newcastle studio. John Anderson still at Stamford Bridge taking your calls and answering your messages. Give us a call tonight. It's free to do so. 0800 234 6565. That is 0800 234 6565. Get in touch on the messages as well on WhatsApp. It's 08000 321 333. 08000 321 333. Send us a normal SMS message as well. It's 81333. Start your messages with the letters BBC. Let me just quickly run you through some of the other Premier League results today. Earlier on in the early kickoffs, Sunderland beaten 1-0 by Brighton at the Stadium of Light. Yakuba Minte, the former Newcastle United player, never actually played a game for the Magpies because he went out on loan. But he scored the all-important goal for Brighton, winning there at the Stadium of Light earlier on. Burnley at Turf Moor, they drew 0-0 with Bournemouth. As you've just been hearing from Razor, Arsenal scoring late on again. This got a bit of a record at the minute for scoring late goals. Victor Gyökeres in the 89th minute, then Max Daumann scoring in the 97th minute to mean they win 2-0 at the Emirates, and Arsenal extend their lead at the top of the table with Manchester City taking on West Ham at 8 o'clock tonight. The other notable games in the Championship today, Middlesbrough, they missed the chance on closing the gap at the top of the table, drawing 1-1 with Bristol City. They conceded in the 96th minute with Coventry losing 2-1 to Southampton. Non-league wise today, Gateshead drew 1-1 with Sutton at home, missing the chance of giving themselves a better chance of survival there, and South Shields losing as well 2-1 to Hereford this afternoon. But at Stamford Bridge, John Anderson is still there and he's ready to take your phone calls this evening. Ando, good evening.
Hello, Dom. You all right?
Very good. A good result for Newcastle on the road and Anthony Gordon on the score sheet once again.
Yeah, he hasn't scored too many from open play in the Premier League. He's got plenty in the Champions League, and he won't score a more simpler one. Livramento does great. It opens up for him and he plays a straight ball through the middle of the Red Sea. It was Joe Willock couldn't believe his luck, how much room he had. He could have went on his own, but he was very unselfish, rolled it square to Gordon, who knocked it into an empty net, and that was it. Not a great deal else happened in the game. You would say it wasn't a game that was plenty of spills and trills. It wasn't a high tempo game. Chelsea a bit more of the ball second half, but did absolutely nothing with it and deserved to win the game.
Evidence was there that I think both teams probably their priority, I think, is in midweek, isn't it? I think you could tell that from the game today, couldn't you, really?
Well, the one thing
Chelsea
I would say is if Chelsea
their intensity in that first half was pretty non-existent.
What intensity? What intensity? You've seen walking football played at a quicker tempo. Look, I think it's a long way back from Chelsea. They've got to score 3 without reply, and the way that they've played here today, it's difficult to see them doing that, to be quite honest. Whether they have one eye on that game against PSG or not, the performance today needed to be better. It's not nice to go into a second leg of a Champions League last 16 game on the back of another defeat. But they were toothless as well. You know, they really were. They were poor. They were poor. They showed absolutely nothing at all, and we didn't have to do a great deal. You know, we didn't have too many chances, but the chance that we got, we took. As I said, Chelsea plenty of the ball, but played in front of us, went square, went backwards. No real tempo to their game at all. Won the game 1-0, and it was a very, very comfortable 1-0.
Yeah, Eddie Howe in the past hasn't, notoriously been known to change his team up too much. Made plenty of changes today, so that'll please him. At the fact that the players that he's brought in, it worked. He can rely on those players to go away to Chelsea, and get a result ultimately.
Yeah, look, he gave fringe players opportunities. Joe Willock came in, as I said.
Botman back in.
Made the goal. Botman came back in, wasn't asked too many questions. Voldemar came in, did okay. Obviously Gordon back in.
Chelsea fans are complaining about Voldemar. Chelsea fans are complaining about Voldemar. They think they should have had a penalty on Cole Palmer.
They're choking, aren't you? Dear. You know what it is? The game really has gone because the slightest little touch anywhere in the penalty area and people go down. Everyone, and I include our supporters in this, everybody shouts for penalties. It's ridiculous. It was never a penalty. Palmer felt a little touch and he's gone down. Never a penalty.
Do you think it's Do you think it's one of those where the ball's going out of play anyway and he's just trying to buy a penalty?
It doesn't matter where the ball's going. It's never a penalty. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Let's go to the phone lines then. You can give us a call tonight as well. We're on until 8 o'clock here on BBC Radio Newcastle. The number to do so is 0800 234 6595, and that's exactly what Barry has done. Good evening, Barry.
Hello, you alright?
Very good.
Hey,
You must be delighted about that.
I am. I was at the Barcelona game. I'm the season ticket holder. I've been speaking to John loads of times. They did well there. And they've done well tonight, and I had confidence in that tonight. I did really. I didn't think Chelsea put too much on it.
No, they didn't. Chelsea were very pedestrian. They played with no tempo. They didn't ask any questions whatsoever. It was the most comfortable 1-0. It was one of the most comfortable 1-0s you see. They had plenty of the ball in the second half, Chelsea, but they did absolutely nothing with it. They went across the pitch, they went backwards. They never looked to get the ball forward, they never looked to pass the ball forward, and it was a comfortable night. No real pace to the game, but we deserved to win the game. We took the chance that came our way. Very good goal. Livramento does great, Willock does great, rolls it to Gordon, who rolls it into an empty net, and there wasn't too many clear-cut chances in the game at all, but ours came our way, we took it, and that was it. And as I say, thoroughly deserved to win the game.
Exactly, John. That's what it's all about, and getting up the table.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's exactly what I want. That's exactly what we expect. And we'll just see how they scores the Wednesday, and then we've got something on Sunday, which I'll be in. So we'll just carry on the good work, and that's what we need to do. Well,
it's at this stage of the season where you need to put a little bit of a run together, and it looks like that's exactly what we're doing. We're down to single figures left in league fixtures. If we keep doing what we're doing, the one thing tonight was we looked solid defensively, something that we haven't looked for a while. I think the fact that we've kept a clean sheet will delight Eddie Howe, because we've looked pretty open defensively. We've given an awful lot of goals away, but tonight we were solid, and that will delight him. And look, we go to Barcelona on Wednesday on the back of a win. Got to be a confidence boost for us, and hopefully we can keep it going between now and the end of the season.
Barry, thank you very much for your phone call this evening. You can give us a call as well, 0800 234 6565. Plenty of messages coming in on WhatsApp as well at 08000 321 333. Let's start with some of them then. This one is from Ian, who said that was Ramsey's best game so far. Oh no, he says, was that Ramsey's best game so far? Ando he has to limit attacking and was great defensively as well. He's had a bit of a run in the team at the minute, and do you think that was one of his better performances? You were impressed against Barcelona as well.
Yeah, I thought he was great against Barcelona. He's a player who, when he first arrived, came in for, I think, unfair criticism because he wasn't getting a run of games. He was coming on for 10-15 minutes and people were saying, oh, he's not this, he's not that. He doesn't look value for money. It's amazing how people change their minds, isn't it? I think when you watched him in those cameos, you could see there was something about him. He never accepts the ball with his back to goal. He's always on the half turn. He sees the full pitch. He sees the full picture. And I kept saying, when he gets a run of games, he'll improve and he'll get better game by game. And that's exactly what he's done. Yeah, he looks a really good player. And as I say, getting better game by game.
We've had a message from Joseph from the Czech Republic. Thank you very much for your text. He says, great result, but disappointed Osula was left out for Voltemade this evening. Osula played in midweek. He was on the bench, and Voltemade, how did you think he played? Some people thought he wasn't up to it again, but some people said it was one of his better games.
He did okay. You wouldn't say he was absolutely brilliant, but you wouldn't say he was awful either. He had good moments. I thought he did okay. It was one of those games where he wasn't put under an awful lot of pressure because the tempo of the game was so slow.
It wasn't as if it was.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't as if it was hustle bustle, really quick. Everything happened in so fast in the middle of the park that it was too quick in and around them. It wasn't that type of game. It was slow, pedestrian, so it gave him time to drop back into positions. So it was a type of game that really suited him, but I thought he did okay.
Yeah, and Daniel from Jarrow has messaged as well to come to his defence as well. He says, good performance by Voltemade today. What a fantastic effort by all the lads. Great attacks, especially by Anthony Gordon. I like the way Gordon and Barnes stretch the opposition in both directions.
Well, that's what he does. He chases lost causes. He puts pressure on centre backs. He puts pressure on goalkeepers. The fact that he got his goal will have done him the world of good because he hasn't scored too many from open play in the Premier League. The majority of his goals have all come from penalties. But he ran around. He closed down. He starts it all for us. To be quite honest, Dom, when we're at our best and playing with that high intensity and closing opposition down, he's the one that starts it. He goes and then everybody else follows on.
Yeah, he's that trigger,
so so he's important for us. He is important for us because, as you rightly say, he is the trigger that starts it all off.
Let's go back to the phone lines. You can give us a call as well if you're quick. 0800 234 6565. John is next up on the line. Good evening, John.
Good evening, Dom. How are you doing, mate?
All very good. You must be pleased after that one.
Oh, massive result, Dom. I've just been having a look at the league table there, Andor. 6 points behind Chelsea now. That's how big that result is, because I think if we lose that, then it's going to be a big struggle in terms of European football. I really think, Andor, Tino Livramento makes a big difference to this team when he's in tonight. You know, not just his defensive work, but going forward, I thought he was really good again tonight. And that back four, if we can keep everyone together and keep it fit, I think that could be a back four for the future, because you've obviously got really good, not just full backs that can defend, but attacking Livramento and Orlando. And I thought Botman and Chow tonight, even though, yes, it was probably an easy game because everything was in front of them, but I thought they did really well again tonight.
Yeah, look, I think when Botman and Chow, people will have looked at it and thought, long-term, Livramento and Hall as full-backs, those two at centre-backs. I think a lot of people would have seen that as the future going forward. And yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. You know, there's been a lot of speculation about Livramento and his future, whether he's going to be here in the summer or whatnot. But you know, that's it. At this moment in time, it's just all speculation and it's just clickbait. It's just to get people talking about it and get people get people bothered about it and get reactions and one thing and another. I wouldn't be getting too involved in that until the summer comes and we see where we are and see what's going to happen, because you would expect during the summer that there will be changes. I think there will be changes. I think there'll be players who go and there'll be players that come in. So but yeah, as far as that back four goes, I totally agree with you. You know, if you can keep them all, there's no reason in the world why they couldn't be the back four for quite a few seasons to come.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned before about Jacob Ramsey, Ando. I thought he was brilliant again tonight, and I'm really starting to see why Eddie Howe has bought him, when I definitely think we're seeing the Ramsey that Villa fans were really disappointed to go. Yeah. And I was really more worried because obviously Tonali tonight, but I thought he was brilliant in the midfield tonight, Ramsey, and was probably my man of the match.
Yeah, I think he's got better game by game. You know, I remember seeing him a few times for Villa and I thought, yeah, he's a good player. And when you watch him off the ball and before he gets the ball, John, you know, he very rarely receives the ball with his back to everything. He sees the old picture. He's always sideways on, so he sees the bigger picture. And what I like about him is when he gets it, his first thought, he gets it out of his feet, is, can I pass it forward? Can I get the ball forward early? If not, okay, then I'll give it to the nearest black and white shirt. But his first thought is to get the ball into the forward players. And I said all along, when this boy gets a run of games, he'll become a good player. You'll see the player that he is. And I think he's getting better game by game. I thought he was terrific the other night against Barcelona. And I think tonight as well, I think the emphasis was on him in that midfield, and I think he stood up and he grabbed it and thought, yeah, I don't mind it, I'll accept this, you know, I'll get a grip of the game in here, and that's exactly what he did.
John, thank you very much for your phone call this evening. I'm going to try and fit Andrew in as well in just a moment. This message is from Gareth, who says, thanks Dom, Reyes and Ando for this afternoon. Big 3 points. I bet, like me, there are lots of supporters wishing we had got Chelsea in the Champions League rather than Barca after that tonight, but we go there with confidence. Let's bring in Andrew, who give us a call tonight. Probably our last caller this evening before we go off air at 8 o'clock. Good evening, Andrew. You must be pleased with that one.
Oh, absolutely. Hi, Dom. Hi, John. I was a bit fearful before the game, not so much because of Chelsea, because even though they've got like 100 players, I don't think the quality is that good, other than Palmer. What I was fearful for was our record there and the effects we would have from Wednesday night against Barcelona. I mean, it was a huge effort against them, and I thought we would maybe run out of legs, you know, and just look leggy, and I thought maybe that way it would catch up with us, but there was absolutely none of that, and I think it was a game which suited us because it was a slow tempo. You know, like you said, it was comfortable. I thought it was a very professional job by us. I thought Gordon was outstanding. with his running and his pressure and we just look so much better with a centre forward who can do that. You know, it's the closest thing that we've got from the striker who we had last season, and it was just defensively. I thought we were excellent. I thought Chow was good. Walter Mata in the middle was okay, like you said. He was all right. Ramsey was good. It was just a good, solid performance, and a very excellent, much needed 3 points, because now we've got back-to-back wins. It's opened up possibilities going forward for the last 9 games of the season, and there's a lot to play for now.
Yeah, look at it. I think after the game against Barcelona, if you were going to pick a game that you wanted to play, this was probably it, because Chelsea don't play at a high tempo. They don't put you under pressure. It's pretty slow build-up, pedestrian, all about keeping the ball, all about passing the ball. No real tempo to it, and I thought that suited us down to the ground tonight. If we were suffering a little bit from the Barcelona game, that tonight was exactly the type of game that we needed, because we didn't have to bust the gut. No. Especially first half, all we had to do was shift across the pitch, because all Chelsea did was knock it square, knock it back. And once you see the ball in front of you, you're always going to be comfortable. It's when that ball goes in behind you that you've got problems. And Chelsea never ever did that. They never looked to get the ball in behind us. Everything was in front, everything was backwards. We seen the ball, we seen players in front of us, so it was very, very easy to defend against. And the tempo that they played at, I mean, even when they passed the ball, it was a slow pass. There was it wasn't zipped at people. It was taking an eternity to get there. And I just think the tempo of that game tonight totally suited us down to the ground, and it didn't take too much out of us. Look, we deserved to win the game, but it didn't overexert us in any way whatsoever. And I know he rested players, but those players who will play on Wednesday night, who played again tonight, they weren't overexerted tonight. They just did what they had to do to get through the game.
Yeah, totally agree. You'll have one eye on the England match tonight?
I will do, yeah.
You'll have to cheer us on. You'll have to cheer us on. It was great.
I know, and that's it. Yeah, I know.
Cheering on the English, Ando. Come on. I know. Come on, England.
Safe journey home, John.
Cheers, Andrew. Take it easy.
Bye.
Yes, a big game in Paris tonight after Ireland beat Scotland earlier on in the Six Nations. Just before we go, Ando, message here, no name on it, who says, "Hi Ando, it was torture at the end there, but the biggest thing for me is that hanging on that one."
Okay, right.
He says,
hanging on.
Well,
okay. Sorry, Dom. Go on. Yeah.
He says that João Pedro was showing that he is more suited to us than them. Were you impressed by João Pedro at all, or not really?
Yeah, he's a good player. I didn't think he had one of his better games tonight. I don't think there was too many in Chelsea blue that played extremely well tonight. I thought they were all pretty laboured, to be quite honest. But look, he's a good player, and he probably would be better suited to the way we play. There's no doubt about it. But he wanted to stay in London, and he wanted to come to Chelsea. There wasn't a great deal that we could do about it, to be quite honest.
And I know it's been mentioned a few times, but now I guess the squad of players in Eddie Howe has full confidence in a few days now to kind of recover and prepare for Barcelona in midweek.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Joe Linton didn't start, Asula didn't start, Alanga didn't start, Dan Bourne didn't start. Yes, they came on, but they weren't overexerted tonight, though. As I said to Andrew there, it was a type of game that really suited us tonight, because we didn't have to go chasing, we didn't have to press, we didn't have to put our bodies on the line too many times. It was quite comfortable, and people might not accept that, Chelsea being in the position that they're in, but it was a very, very comfortable win tonight.
And just very quickly,
even though it was only 1-0.
And just very quickly then, can they win it in midweek?
I don't see any reason why not. Giving themselves an absolutely great chance. It's just a shame about that penalty and added on time. But yeah,
we'll take that. I will let you go off to watch the rugby and go and cheer on England then.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you very much for your company this evening then. Reaction to today's match with Eddie Howe will be available too on BBC Sounds. John Hanson, safe travels back to the northeast. But yes, BBC Sounds for post-match reaction with Eddie Howe, and of course from our earlier commentary game of Sunderland's defeat at Brighton Register Breeze, all on BBC Sounds. Total Sport, of course, though, back on Monday from 6 o'clock.
Ciao to Livramento on the half turn, now comes forwards through the middle. There's a gap and he's played it in behind, and Joe Willock is in one-on-one. Willock squares it. It's Anthony Gordon who rolls it into the net. Newcastle United take the lead as a ball from Livramento got Willock away. He was one-on-one, but instead of going for goal, slipped it to his left to Anthony Gordon, who did the rest. Gordon has scored his 16th of the season, and it's Chelsea 0, Newcastle United 1 in the 18th minute.
Total Sport Northeast. On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live. BBC Radio Newcastle.